Sunday was as glorious as most of the games played in pinstripes by Joe DiMaggio. His spirit was serenaded by Paul Simon in center field. Images we'll never forget, and a monument made of granite that should last forever. On the field, the Yankees needed a ninth-inning big play, and O'Neill, Knobloch, and Posada connected to preserve the tie, setting the stage for Bernie Williams, the man who plays DiMaggio's position, to win the game in the 11th. It was perfect. Now the Yankees hit the road for this season's longest trip, which starts in Arlington, Texas. On the mound, a Yankee who almost became a Ranger. He's the Rocket, and launch sequence is in progress. Next on MSG. MSG is the Emmy Award-winning network of New York Yankees baseball, and the Yankees find themselves in the middle of summer in April in Arlington, Texas, where it was 85 degrees and sunny today. Tonight on the mound for the Yankees, it's Roger Clemens looking to go perfect and set a little American League history as he takes on Aaron Seeley and his 3-1 record. Good evening, everybody. I'm Al Trowig, and welcome to our coverage of the Yankees. You know, Arlington historically is not a great place to have played for the Yankees. Billy Martin got in trouble here, so did Doc Gooden. It's where Don Mattingly's back first acted up and knocked him out of the starting lineup. But since they blew up old Arlington Stadium, the Yankees feel right at home here at the ballpark. And the Texas Rangers' mission is to knock that feeling of confidence out of the ballpark. As for the Yankees, a couple of news notes, and they're both good. Joe Torre's on his way back to St. Louis to be re-examined by the doctor who performed the prostate surgery. If all things are good, he'll take I-70 across the state and hook up with the Yankees and maybe fully return to the bench as they return to Kansas City this weekend. Meanwhile, Scott Brocious could be back before the week is over as well. Tonight, he'll play the first of 2 games with the Tampa Yankees rehabbing from his badly sprained ankle. As for this game tonight, let's go upstairs to the booth. Jim Cott and Ken Singleton. Guys?
Well, thanks a lot, Al. I had forgotten a lot about those Yankee experiences in the past, but when Roger Clemens came up in 1983, Ralph Houck said, best pitching prospect since Tom Seaver. Aaron Seeley comes along, best prospect since Roger Clemens. Neither one of them with Boston anymore. We're going to see them both tonight.
Well, we're going to see Roger Clemens first as far as highlights are concerned. We'll go back to his last start against these very same Texas Rangers on the 21st at Yankee Stadium, and Clemens did pick up the victory in this ball game. Although he struggled a bit in the first inning, he will strike out Pudge Rodriguez on a splitter. He faced 6 batters in the first inning and allowed a run. Then in the 4th inning, a home run by Todd Zeile will put the Rangers ahead momentarily by a score of 2-1. That's the 5th home run that Roger Clemens has allowed this year. But then in the 6th inning, he strikes out Mark McLemore with a couple of men on base. 7 in the 3rd innings, he wins the ball game by a score of 4-2.
And Roger Clemens continues to pile up the Hall of Fame numbers. He's 2-0 this year. He's won his last 17. Most of you aware. A win tonight would give him the American League record, 18 straight wins. Aaron Seeley doesn't have the power of Roger Clemens, but he does have an outstanding curveball.
Yeah, maybe the best curveball in the league. They call it 12-6 because it starts at the 12, ends on the 6. Straight down with the curveball. We're going to look at a start of his against the Detroit Tigers, and there's that curveball I was talking about. And Aaron Seeley also seems to get off to a very good start every season. He's done so again this year. Maybe one of the best curveballs in baseball, and an above-average curve along with a pretty good fastball that he spots to the corners. 7 losses to the Yankees, though. The Yankees have been a problem for him in the past.
Aaron Seeley, 3-1 this year, did not do as well as the Red Sox had hoped. That's why he's down here in Texas. The Yankees will try to continue their dominance over these Texas Rangers. We'll have game 1 of this 3-game series for you on MSG when we come back after this. Welcome to the ballpark at Arlington. As Al Trowig mentioned, the Yankees start their longest road trip of the year. They'll play 3 here, 4 in Kansas City, and then a couple of more in Minnesota before heading back home. And Aaron Seeley, off to a good start at 3-1, will face Chuck Knobloch. We'll give you the rest of the Yankee batting order in just a moment. High, ball 1. Seeley 3-1 in his career, and these numbers tell a bit of a story about him. He has started 145 games. He's completed 7. And Kenny's got good stuff, but he tends to be too timid, particularly with his curveball. Foul out of play, 1-1. And his pitching coach, Dick Bosman, I thought was a very good point. He said, I try to tell Aaron, be cocky with your curveball or arrogant. Throw it like, hey, I got a good one. I don't think you can hit it.
Well, it is one of the better ones in the league. And I think in the past up at Fenway Park, maybe a little timid with it because of the fact that left-handed hitters used to pound it off that wall in left center field. Well, that can't happen here in Texas.
Knobloch starts with a looping base hit down the left field line. He's going to try for 2 as Greer comes up. The throw will not be in time. Knobloch hustling from step 1 gets a leadoff double.
Well, we talked about the homecoming of Roger Clemens. Chuck Knobloch, homecoming for him. He's from Texas.
Let's check out the rest of the Yankee lineup as usual. Derek Jeter, Paul O'Neill, Bernie Williams. Those 4 have been in those spots every game. Then Tino Martinez and the hot-hitting Chili Davis. Bottom third, Chad Curtis, Luis Sojo, and Joe Girardi.
In the field for the Texas Rangers, our New York Life lineup. It's going to be Zeal, Clayton, McLemore, and Stevens in the infield. Greer, Goodwin, and Gonzalez in the outfield. Rodriguez doing the catching for Seeley.
Jeter steps in, the league's leading hitter. There's the curveball, fouled out of play, strike 1, and near the top in 12 offensive categories in the American League.
How do you hit .415 in the early going in the season and lead the league? The Yankees have played 17 games. Jeter has 9 multiple hit games. More than half of them, he's had at least 2 hits.
Herb hit towards second base. That'll be a productive out if it isn't. Wow, good play by McLemore to just get Jeter by a half a stride. Derek hustling all the way, but does the job and advances Knobloch to third base.
Now, we've seen Jeter in the past try and lay down a bunt to move Knobloch over if he leads off an inning with a double. A lot of pressure on McLemore here, and he comes up and makes the play. I think Jeter was just in the air, about to touch the bag when Stevens caught the throw. Close play at first. McLemore under pressure does get the out.
Paul O'Neill will step in, and we're seeing a little of the Clemens effect here in the first inning. Why? The infield is in. The Rangers and Johnny Oates do not want to give the Yankees an early lead, even if it's just 1 run. And O'Neill, of course, in a bit of a slump, 3 for 16. That's on the corner where strikes is Chuck Merriweather. Any other pitcher in a normal game, managers would say, hey, we'll give you a run in the first inning to get the out and not risk a big inning. You know, if O'Neill hits a ground ball that goes through for a base hit and you face Bernie Williams, you're opening up the possibility of a big inning.
Well, Ray Miller tried that against Clemens earlier this year.
Ball and a strike.
Now, this is a good ballpark for O'Neill, though. Sometimes you feel comfortable in certain parks around the league. And O'Neill had a big-time average here in Texas last year. Hit 4 home runs here in the ballpark at Arlington. Also hit .429. That includes the division series.
Much better than the old ballpark. The background is better, and of course the ball with the double-deck grandstand carries a little better to right field here than the old one. Tapped out in front of the plate, and the strategy is going to pay off as Seeley will toss out O'Neill, and you don't see it very often, but I think Paul threw up his arms in frustration. He felt that Knobloch should have gotten a jump and scored on that.
You know, I agree with Paul O'Neill, because when Seeley came up with the ball, he looked to throw one place, and that was the first base. And I think the play would have been tough for him to spin around and try and throw back towards home. Knobloch didn't get a jump off a third. It didn't come. I believe he could have scored. Now watch, you're supposed to land on your right foot, and right now he's locked up on both feet. When you're leading off third base, you're supposed to plant that right foot, either keep going or push to go back to the bag. And I don't believe he got a good jump.
And there you see O'Neill when he looks back, throws his hands up. Can't believe Knobloch did not try to score on that ball. Now it's up to Bernie Williams. That's on the corner for a strike. The other factors that could enter into that, Kenny, is if the Yankees had make the ball go through, coaches will say contact play. But if you're a base runner with Chuck Knobloch's skill you can really make that decision yourself.
You know, even if he is thrown out, it's going to be a close play.
There's the curve, but it misses 1-1. It's another example, and we've talked about it often, that baseball is a very slow-paced game, methodical, sometimes too long a game. But when you're on the field, things happen so quickly. You really have to anticipate ahead of time. Chuck Knobloch had to know ahead of time. Top ball out in front of the plate. Bingo, I got to get a quick jump. There's the good Seeley curve.
Another thing about Knobloch not scoring, Seeley's working from the stretch. We'll hold the runner a little bit closer. So you look at this curveball from Aaron Seeley. He's going to drop it in there for a call strike. There he is. There's that 12-6 we're talking about, straight down.
Ooh. A yacker. Backs him off the plate. 2-2.
One reason why Knobloch might have not have gotten a good jump, because Zeal was playing in close to the bag. Seeley working from the stretch, so he couldn't get that big a lead off of third base.
And here you're seeing the reason that Aaron Seeley only has 7 complete games in his career. He's going to throw a lot of pitches. You see the scouting report on him.
Escape from Fenway Park. I think that would make any pitcher happy. Trouble with lefties. Over the years, last 5 years, lefties have hit .295 against him. Great curveball. We've seen it already.
Ernie will break up his rhythm and step out for a moment.
In fact, let me jump that up. Lefties over the last 5 years have hit over 300 against him.
Good 3-2 curveball. Confidence in it to throw it on a full count. Seeley escapes. Rangers coming to bat against the Rocket, who will look for his 18th straight win. Back on MSG after this.
New York Yankees baseball is brought to you by Brewery Fresh Budweiser, who reminds you fresh beer tastes better. By American Express. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, American Express helps you do more. By Hertz. For business, for pleasure. Nobody does it exactly like Hertz. And by The Wiz. Your ticket to home entertainment.
Roger Clemens with 50 of his family and friends on hand, seeking his 18th consecutive win. Here's the lineup he'll face. Texas Rangers, one of 4 teams to score over 100 runs this year. They start with Tom Goodwin. He's not hitting well. Then Mark McLemore and Rusty Greer. Juan Gonzalez, the cleanup hitter. Rafael Palmeiro, Ivan Rodriguez, Todd Zeal. Lee Stevens may be their best hitter so far this year. And Royce Clayton batting ninth.
Here's the Yankee New York Live lineup in the field. Soho, Jeter, Knobloch, and Martinez in the infield. Have Curtis Williams and O'Neill in the outfield, and Girardi will be doing the catching for Roger Clemens. Now we talked about Chuck Knobloch's throwing problems this year, but how about that relay the other day that cut down the potential winning run that held its game tied, enabled Bernie Williams to come up with a big hit. Knobloch was in the middle of it and threw a perfect strike to the plate to get Willie Green for the out.
Kept it a 3-3 tie and enabled Bernie Williams to win it with a base hit in the 11th. You look at Roger Clemens' numbers, actually the highest amount of base runners allowed per 9 innings on the Yankee staff, because the numbers you see there, 15 walks and 22 hits in 24 innings. So he has allowed a lot of base runners. Goodwin takes high for a ball. Tom Goodwin, who represents a lot of speed, leads the American League with 10 steals, but is not getting on very often. One and one.
Scouting report on Roger Clemens. Another Rocket record if he wins tonight. Native son returns, and his fastball sets the pace, sets up all his other pitches, and he definitely has multiple weapons.
All fastballs to Goodwin, and the count is 2-1.
We talked about the fact that in the past that April is usually the slow month for Roger Clemens. He builds momentum, but I think tonight in particular, this is the best weather that he's pitched in so far. You can see he's gone without the shirt sleeves.
Wow, close pitch. Took a look at Chuck Merriweather, goes 3-1. This is ideal weather for pitchers and hitters, warmest weather they've had for a while. Let's check out that pitch.
Let's watch Joe Girardi's glove. Usually it indicates he had to drop it down. Yep.
That's in for a strike. And if you followed the reports lately in the paper, some pretty strong comments from Richie Phillips, head of the Umpires Union, but we've noticed it that the umpires are not giving the borderline outside pitch as much as they did last year because they're being monitored closely, more closely. There's an example. And Clemens looking down like, where is that pitch? He says to Chuck Merriweather. Speaking of the umpires, tonight's umpire lineup brought to you by NAN, National Arbitration and Mediation, most timely, cost-effective way to settle your legal disputes. The crew chief is Jim Evans. Dale Ford will be behind the plate tomorrow night, and the veteran Larry McCoy at third base. I think that was an example of it right there, Kenny. You're not going to see as many of those pitches off the corner called strikes because the umpires know they're being watched rather closely this year.
Over in the National League, the same thing has happened to Greg Maddux, not getting that outside pitch.
In for a strike to McLemore.
Well, this is what we kind of set up earlier in the Yankee scorecard show, what the Rangers might try and do tonight against the Rocket, and that's steal some bases. They have their fastest man on base, in fact, leading the league in stolen bases. And they stole 4 bases against Roger Clemens last week in New York.
And he'll keep Goodwin close at first base. Ideal number 2 hitter, the veteran Mark McLemore. Very patient, makes contact. And for a big man, you can see Roger Clemens. And the key to having a good pickoff move for a right-hander is quick footwork. And he turned and threw rather quickly to first base there to keep Goodwin close.
Now, I thought I saw Goodwin with that little lean towards second before he retreated back to first base. So he's gearing up over there at first for an attempted steal.
Just back again. Again, what a pitcher looks at, Kenny, when they look over here, they look at this cutout right there, and Goodwin's right foot is about even with it. So if he starts sneaking a little bit past that cutout, that's kind of the warning sign to Clemens that he's going to go, or he's getting too big a lead. He's gone. Tapped out foul. Near home plate.
Well, the thing about Goodwin, he has great acceleration. I mean, this guy is almost at full speed after just a couple of strides. And what did I say? He might be the fastest guy in the league, or it might be Shannon Stewart of the Toronto Blue Jays. One of those two.
Well, since it's Kentucky Derby week, we'll get a match race schedule between them.
Goodwin, who came up in the Dodgers organization, never really hit enough to break into the Dodger outfield on a full-time basis.
Sharply. Knobloch can't reach it. Goodwin with that speed will turn and head for third and make it easily. And the Rangers with an early threat against Roger Clemens. First and third and nobody out.
Well, McLemore at first has now extended a hitting streak to 7 consecutive games. Fastball kind of tail, but right towards the middle of the plate. Not quite in enough. Knobloch with the headlong dive, can't get to it. And with Goodwin's speed, you mentioned that he can fly, so there's runners at first and third.
Left-handers hitting .306 against Clemens coming into the game. And here's a guy is still looking for his first home run, Rusty Greer, but the average really picking up. 5-game hitting streak, and the average now up to .320. That's on the corner for a strike.
So when you're looking for your first home run, you got to remember that you got to walk before you can run. So he's got a 5-game hitting streak going, so he's starting to heat up, and somebody will make a mistake big enough for him to drive it out of the ballpark.
Especially now that the Rangers are back at the ballpark at Arlington. They have a tough homestand. Fans looking for the balk ball as Clemens faked to third, try to catch McLemore off first. The Rangers play 3 against the Yankees and then 4 against the Indians on this homestand. Up the middle. That's in for a base hit. McLemore's going to turn and head for third. Good aggressive base running by the veteran McLemore. Rangers take a 1-0 lead. First and third, and Clemens still looking for his first out.
Well, another pitch that is centered too much in the middle of the plate, right there for Rusty Greer. Slams it right back through the middle. Nothing that Knobloch can do about that. Rangers take the lead. A walk and 2 base hits. And now a 6-game hitting streak for Rusty Greer. Doesn't even hesitate, just turns the corner. You see Jeter had to get out of the way there, and McLemore's into third base.
Base runner, as McLemore did, read that ball. It was hit to right center, so he knew Bernie Williams was running to his glove hand side, and it'd be more difficult for him to throw him out. Here's the dangerous Gonzalez. Nice block by Girardi on the breaking ball. Finally got his first home run on the weekend series against Minnesota that the Rangers swept. And not Gonzalez-like numbers, so you know here at this ballpark eventually some pitcher is going to pay for that, and the Yankees hoping it's not one of theirs. All breaking balls so far to Gonzalez, and another nice block by Girardi. What adds another powerful dimension to this lineup is if you pitch around Gonzalez, they now have Rafael Palmeiro hitting 5th as their designated hitter.
Well, you know he's got the green light, number 1. Last week in New York, Clemens put an 0 for 4 on Gonzalez. In fact, Gonzalez was the last man he faced. He struck him out in the 8th inning. But Gonzalez also hit a couple of long fly balls at Yankee Stadium, and that made me feel like he's starting to heat up with the long ball. And the next night in Minnesota, he hit a home run.
High for a ball, a 4-pitch walk, and the Rangers have him loaded. Still nobody out, and here comes Palmeiro.
Well, in the early going, the Rocket has not left the launching pad as of yet to get things going.
See Palmeiro's numbers overall against lefties, or against righties rather, just under 400. And Don Zimmer, what could be his last series as the interim manager for the Yankees, as Al Trautwig pointed out on our Marriott Marquee scorecard show, the Yankees hopeful and somewhat optimistic Joe Torre may be in the dugout on Friday. Right field base hit. McLemore is home. Greer got a late start. He'll have to hold because the ball was hit so sharply. And the Rangers playing a little station to station. Lead it 2-0. Bases loaded. Still nobody out.
Well, Kitty, as we watch the Texas Rangers score a couple of runs so far on 3 hits and 2 walks, you were talking about the Rocket being maybe a little too fired up when he came back home to pitch.
You know, I don't know if it's fired up. You see O'Neill charge the ball, and Greer, because he has to wait to see if Knobloch cut it off, got a late start, he'll have to hold. But I always thought when you played or pitched in front of your home fans, he's got 50 tickets here, you don't want to embarrass yourself. You try a little hard. You've been at the hotel worried about, oh, am I leaving enough tickets? A good example of that is Aaron Seeley's favorite player when he was a kid, Kirby Puckett. Kirby Puckett never did well in Chicago, his hometown, for that very reason. Not that this is Rogers' hometown, but of course you identify him being in Texas. This is what he had to say.
Sort of makes sense.
Yep. Andy never has pitched very well here in Texas except postseason play, where it really counts. And here's Pudge Rodriguez with the average over 300. He didn't play Sunday, so Johnny Oates, being a former catcher, knows how important rest is to a catcher. With the day off yesterday, he's had 2 full days of rest. And aggressively swings at the first pitch, strike 1, fouled straight back.
So here's a guy who has played at least 130 games 4 years in a row. And when we get to that Texas heat, when the Yankees come back here in August, 85 degrees will be a memory. I mean, it's going to be, it's going to be at least 15 degrees warmer than that here.
Fouled straight back. And it's 0-2. Well, bases loaded, nobody out first inning. I think the Rocket is saying, this is my 9th inning. Those last 2 pitches, his fastest, they were 93 and 92, and he's ahead of Rodriguez 0-2. To Jeter. Flipped the knob-block for 1, can't get 2. Ball wasn't hit sharply enough. The Rangers get another run, but the Yankees finally get the first out of the inning.
Well, you got to credit Rodriguez with an RBI. As Greer will score from third base, but you can see the only thing Jeter could do is try and get it done as quickly as possible. And there's no way they're going to turn 2. Pudge Rodriguez, should I say, yeah, runs well for a catcher.
Yeah, catchers hate to hear that. Todd Zeile in the number 7 spot tonight. Lee Stevens being dropped down in the 8th. Johnny Oates treats him almost as a second cleanup hitter, batting 8th. He's really been his most productive hitter. On the run is Rodriguez, a real slow delivery from Clemens, and that base was strictly stolen on Roger Clemens. You look at Girardi's numbers, 0 for 12 or 0 for 13, you say, boy, Joe can't throw very well. Nah, it's the Yankee pitchers. They don't give him a chance to throw anybody out. Now they'll have to bring the infield in.
And effectively, with that stolen base, it takes away the ground ball double play and the possibility of getting out of the inning on 1 swing.
In the dirt. 1-1. Zeile with a home run off Clemens in the short 2-game series at the stadium last week. Two and 1. Zeile, a good fastball hitter, and Clemens is going at him with sliders.
This is the first time since 1989 that Roger Clemens has allowed runs in 3 straight first innings. In 3 straight outings.
Good swing there, fouled straight back. 2-2. There's the success the Rangers had stealing bases against him last week at the stadium. Poked down the right field line, just foul.
Well, you see the effects of being a veteran hitter in Todd Zeile, taking what the pitcher gives him, pitch out over the plate, not trying to do too much, just trying to slap it the other way with a couple of strikes and pick up maybe a couple more RBIs. Misses by inches. You know, this morning's paper here in Dallas or in Arlington kind of highlighted how Roger Clemens got to the Yankees and didn't come to Texas, and not only Texas to the Rangers, but to Houston with the Astros.
Nice block by Girardi there, and it counts full.
And a lot of quotes from Roger Clemens' agents, the Hendricks brothers, who were based in Houston, and a lot of people disappointed that the Rocket didn't end up in his home state, although one of the priorities, he wanted to go to a team that was a contender. So that's how he ended up with the Yankees.
Hit well, left field. Curtis on the run. Was not going to get that. Chad ran a little sideways on it. 2 more runs are going to score. And Zeile is in at second. And do you believe it? The Rangers have a 5-0 lead with just 1 out here in the first inning.
That doesn't look like Don Zimmer believes it. Todd Zeile taking what the pitcher gives him. The first time he went down the right field line, this pitch is a much better pitch to hit. And you can see Chad Curtis, not much of a chance. 1 hops the wall, 2 more runs. Rangers 5 runs on 4 hits.
Wow, they have come out swinging the bats. Mel Stottlemyre will have to go to the phone in the first inning here. Lee Stevens has really been the Rangers' most productive hitter this year. Steps in. You see the numbers on Stevens, batting 8th. First pitch was a ball. as Dan Nolte will grab a baseball and start to loosen. 1-1. I'm sure we'll be scurrying for the record books and find out the shortest start in Roger Clemens' career, or maybe the least effective. A third of an inning and 5 runs already. Two and one. Last year on this trip through Texas, Kansas City, and Minnesota, the first time, it was only an 8-game trip then, and the Yankees won 7 of 8. Grounded out towards second. Knobloch is there. He'll toss out Stevens as Zeal advances to third, and that's 2 down. So the Rangers are going to go through the batting order here in the first inning as Royce Clayton will step in.
If you're batting 9th in the order, you don't expect to be hitting in the first inning with Roger Clemens as the opposition.
That was always a starting pitcher's goal before the DH. He said you want to bat twice in the first inning and go 0 for 6 because you knew your team's going to have about 12 runs for you to work with. Clayton just 2 for his last 28, hitting 122. Fouled out of play, but with the potent attack the Rangers have, Johnny Oates, as long as Royce Clayton can continue to catch the ball and throw people out, they'll live with his average at 122 or 150. They got enough weapons in that lineup.
Yeah, that's the thing he does very well. He's an excellent fielder.
High. 1-1.
I think if he asked Roger at this point in the game, control within the strike zone is not what he usually has. Too many pitches in the center of the plate.
Good breaking ball into Clayton. 1-2, and he looks back at Chuck Merriweather. Yeah, they always make the good pitches, and the guys hitting a $122 and hitting 9th. They really bring out those nasty ones in. Blazer, and Clayton lays off. 2-2. Well, these are the kind of, we talk about pitch counts and sometimes they're overdone, but these are the kind of innings that really take a lot out of you if you have to go this deep in the first inning. Count is full.
I would think the way the Rocket has pitched this inning, the maximum they could get out of Roger Clemens tonight, even if he shuts things down, would be 5 innings.
Yeah, the key would be, if he gets Clayton out, the key would be how effectively he is the next inning or two. If you have a couple of short innings, you get back in the groove, but back-to-back long innings can just about cook you for the night, even if you don't give up any runs in the next inning. Towards shortstop, hit sharply, but Jeter is there. Throws out Clayton, and in the first inning, the Texas Rangers sent 9 men to the plate. They got 4 hits off Roger Clemens, one of them being this key RBI by Rusty Greer and a double by Todd Zeal. And after 1, Texas leads it 5-0. So a small mountain to climb for the Yankee lineup as they find themselves down 5 to Aaron Seeley and the Rangers as Tino Martinez steps in.
On the other hand, Kitty, what does this do for Aaron Seeley?
Well, this inning right here becomes, strangely enough, a rather important one. That's in for a strike because it's the old adage, and most of you viewers have seen an awful lot of Yankee games and heard people talk about it. When your team puts a 5 spot up there, it's so important to go out and shut the opposition down, quickly, effectively, get your team right back in the dugout. The Yankees get a couple of bloops and a hit, few runs, why then, they're right back in it. So this is an inning that is important for Seeley and the Rangers. Popped up center field. Clayton out. Goodwin in. And Goodwin will make the catch. One quick out in the Yankee first. Let's check out our New York Marriott Marquee pitching matchup. See what Clemens has done in the month of April. He's 39-17, but Seeley is tied tied for the best winning percentage in April among active pitchers, 16-4. He gets out of the gate in a hurry. In fact, a few years ago, in '95, he was off to a great start, and then had to spend the last part of the season on the disabled list with a bit of a tired arm. The hot-hitting Chili Davis takes the curve in for a strike.
Numbers on Chili Davis. Yeah, last April, Aaron Seeley got out of the box on the way to 19 wins, 5-0 in the month of April. He's 3-1 this year. Made the All-Star team for the first time last year.
Little bloop single, and no matter where you pitch him, whether he hits it hard or soft, Chili Davis right now is finding some holes. A leadoff or a one-out single, rather, here in the Yankees' second.
Well, we've seen him hit it hard. We've seen him hit it soft. This one's going to get in on the hands a bit, but he fights it off strong enough to bloop one in there for the base hit. Chili Davis came in at 386.
Chad Curtis gets the start in left field tonight, hitting just 192, and Don Zimmer continues to rotate the left fielder. Shane Spencer not getting a lot of playing time, mostly Curtis and Leday. I think tonight Curtis is in there instead of Spencer because of the curveball of Aaron Seeley. Figure if he misses a few times with the curveball, Chad's a pretty good high fastball hitter. On the corner, strike one. I would imagine the Yankees this Friday, they'll have a decision to make with Scott Brocious being active, and the names that come to mind that that might have to go would be Mike Figa, Clay Bellinger, or Shane Spencer. As Girardi looks like he's explaining Clemens' woes to Don Zimmer in the Yankee dugout.
Speaking of Brocious, tonight down at Tampa, 1 for 3, a single, a couple of ground outs, and he said he felt great.
Which is the important thing. Even if he went 0 for 5, if he can run on that ankle. There's Shane Spencer, who, yep, it's been that kind of an April for Shane. Not a lot of playing time. Good curve there from Seeley. Shane Spencer probably sitting and wondering and thinking back to what a hero he was in this park last October. And there's Clay Bellinger, who also could be in a Yankee uniform for the last series. Curtis down on strikes. Second strikeout of the night for Seeley, and that's 2 away.
Not only does Seeley have the curveball that's very effective when he throws it hard, he can also change speeds on it. This one, it looks like he took a little off, had that little parachute kind of delivery to it, and drops in there for a call strike, and Curtis swings through it.
Well, he's paying good attention to his pitching coach, Dick Bosman. He is getting arrogant enough with that curveball to just say, here it is, I don't think you can hit it. His problems in the past have been that he nibbled a little too much with it and then had to come in with a fastball, and he'd get touched up. There's Dick Bosman.
He used to pitch for the Washington Senators.
Pitched a no-hitter during his tenure with the Cleveland Indians. That's inside, and the count to Soho now, 2-0.
Seeley and Roger Clemens were teammates for 4 years in Boston.
That's in for a strike, 2-1.
I always thought it was difficult for a young pitcher who comes up in the footsteps of another great pitcher like Roger Clemens, and they say, well, he's going to be the next Roger Clemens. And of course that didn't work out. I think of situations in Baltimore when I was playing Jim Palmer. Remember Storm Davis?
Sure.
He's a pretty good pitcher. They said he was going to be the next Jim Palmer.
Yeah, Palmer was Cy Young, and Storm Davis was Cy clone. He was the clone of Jim Palmer. Another good fastball from Seeley, and the count is even to Soho.
And
2-2.
In Philadelphia, you go with Steve Carlton, with Barry Lurch. Right to the corner for a call strike on Soho.
Looped out into short left field, and Clayton is there, makes a remarkable over-the-shoulder catch. Yeah, you can hit a .122 and just keep playing shortstop like that, you'll keep your job. Nice play to end the inning. Rangers coming to bat against Clemens. They already lead it 5-0. Back look at the ballpark at Arlington. Better than 40,000 will be on hand tonight when they all reach their seats as Goodwin, who led off the first inning with a walk, first pitch swinging. That might be why the 5-run first inning. Full moon.
Well, it hasn't exactly been a sea of tranquility. Huh?
In on the hands, and it's 0-2 to Goodwin. Well, if this were, no disrespect, but if this were Kansas City or Minnesota, or a team like that, you would really be puzzled. But the Rangers have scored over 100 runs. They were right there with the Yankees last year as the two best hitting teams in the American League. I think we'll see a few of those, not at the head, but I think we'll see Roger Clemens knock a few guys off the plate here this second go around. 1-2 to Goodwin. Long look at Girardi to get the sign. Just off the corner.
See, one pitch moves him off, and then you go back for the corner. And that
I'll be eager to talk to Roger Clemens the next day or two. Be his 5th start so far this year. That's way outside. And ask him, because he pays very close attention to the umpires. Charts them, knows which guys give him the corner, which guys don't. And ask him if he notices a difference this year in the fact that those borderline pitches are not being called. Hit well center field. Bernie Williams is tracking it, appears to have it measured, and he does. 1 down.
Kenny, you mentioned how the ball carries here in Arlington, and one thing you do need is a speedy center fielder. The Rangers have it in Goodwin, and the Yankees, of course, have a Gold Glove center fielder in Bernie Williams. A Goodwin, he's not known for power. He drives this one pretty good towards left center field. Bernie, nice and smooth, makes the catch.
Of course, with Roger Clemens' fastball, which has consistently been 92, 93, if it doesn't have a lot of movement on it, he'll supply a lot of the power for you. There's an off-speed pitch to McLemore.
I think the key was the movement, and we haven't seen very many swings and misses by the Ranger hitters. I don't think we've seen one until now. and,
right.
And that was a splitter, but I'm talking about on a fastball.
You're right.
Yeah.
They've had good swings. Roger has worked on a 2-seam fastball where he can tail the ball away from left-hand hitters. Inside, 2-1. He's already gone to several full counts, so obviously the rhythm, the stuff, the tempo is not there, but you take nothing away from this Texas Ranger lineup. Tapped out toward Tino Martinez at first base. The toss to Clemens in time, and he's retired the first 2 here in the second inning.
Went back to the splitter, got McLemore to top it towards the right side.
Well, they're walking up and down that bench. They got to be saying to Aaron Seeley, hey, we got 5 off Clemens in the first inning. I mean, take over, big boy.
Well, you know, they're probably saying we might not get any more.
Yeah.
So,
and Seeley knows that, as any pitcher would. Rusty Greer mentioned he's still looking for his first home run, but he knocked in his 13th run in the first inning with a base hit. Now has a 6-game hitting streak. He's never gone this deep into the season without hitting one, but with the weather warmed up and him back here at home, you can look for that to change. In for a strike, 1-1.
This is their, 20th game? The longest previous to this had been 11 games for him into the season.
Fouled out of play, 1-2. Rangers 11-8. They lead the American League West by 2.5 games. Outside 2-2. It just appears to me from this vantage point that we have up here that he is not quite as free and easy. Even on that splitter, he didn't throw it with the same conviction. He threw it sort of feeling feeling his way toward the strike zone with it. That's fouled out of play. You can see sometimes how animated Clemens is after he makes a good pitch, and that 1-2 pitch to Greer, it's just sort of like he tossed it toward the outside corner. Full count. Let's see, this is his 12th hitter that he's faced, and he's had 5 full counts. Popped up. Center field. Bernie Williams says he's got it. And so Roger Clemens back on track, has a 1-2-3 inning in the second. We head to the top of the third, but the Rangers behind Aaron Seeley lead this one 5-0. New York Yankee baseball is brought to you in part by American Express. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, American Express helps you do more, and by your local Chrysler Plymouth dealers.
Aaron Seeley's given up a couple of hits in the first 2 innings, a leadoff double to Chuck Knobloch and a single to Chili Davis in the second. Joe Girardi's going to lead it off. Girardi 3 for 9 lifetime off of Seeley, while Jorge Posada is 0 for 8. That might have been some numbers to get Girardi in there tonight. Seeley's first pitch is right on the corner for a call strike. Well, the fans were very lively in the first inning. Now everybody's kind of settled back in their seats, and I imagine some of the 40,000 hadn't gotten to the ballpark yet.
And when they look at the scoreboard, wow, what happened in the first inning? But now they're Ranger fans going to sit back and just see if Aaron Seeley can make this hold up.
Pitches popped foul over the Rangers dugout back into the seats, and that will run the count on Girardi to 1-2. Chuck Knobloch, you mentioned, led the ball game off with a 2-base hit. He's on deck. Derek Jeter will follow him.
Johnny Oates on the recent trip to New York said, if I can get 4 or 5 innings out of my starters, I'm thrilled to death.
Bouncing ball just fouled on the third base side, but they started to pick it up in Minnesota, where they got well. Johnny Oates saw his ball club sweep the Minnesota Twins, a 4-game series before returning home, take on the Yankees, and next in will be the Cleveland Indians. High fastball, swung on and missed for strike 3.
Now we flash back to Sunday afternoon. Blue Jays were tied at 3 right here and on the verge of scoring the lead run. Now watch the throw from Chuck Knobloch. He receives it from Paul O'Neill and throws a perfect one-hop strike to Posada. They get Willie Green easily. That's the Extra Effort Award to Chuck Knobloch, brought to you by Corona Extra.
And here is Knobloch, who doubled, but was left stranded at third base in the first inning. And maybe because of his own base running, as Paul O'Neill kind of tapped one in front of down the first baseline, and Knobloch didn't attempt to score. Knobloch, another base hit, a solid single to right field. Second straight time he's aboard tonight. Third hit for the Yankees. And in a game when you're down by 5, you know, you'd like to get a big inning, even things up, but sometimes you have to piece it together.
You see the target, and it's right on target. Rodriguez wanted it there. Chuck got the bloop hit in the first inning on an inside pitch. Now he takes what Seeley gives him and takes the outside pitch sharply to right field.
1 on and 1 out for the Yankees here in the third inning, and Derek Jeter steps to the plate. Jeter moved Knobloch over to third after the leadoff double in the ballgame by grounding to second. He almost picked up an infield single, was thrown out by an eyelash. Fouls this one back, and it's strike 1.
Getting back to the Rangers starting pitching woes, the only 2 staffs other than the Ranger, Baltimore and Minnesota, with ERAs over 6, the starting rotation. So they're looking for Seeley and tomorrow night Mark Clark to get back on track. Eventually you have to begin to get some solid performances from your starting rotation, and that's Johnny Oates' bullpen has kept things together for him so far.
Pitches outside for ball. There is talk by Johnny Oates and Dick Bosman of going to a 4-man rotation.
Yeah, they'll do that now with some days off. Their 5th starter, John Burkett, on the disabled list. That's the way it ought to be anyway.
Yeah, but I don't think they'll be doing that in August and July when it's hot as all get out down here. Jeter takes a pitch down low. The count is run to 2 balls in his strike.
If you have a good solid bullpen where you can depend on a few guys out there to come in the 7th inning, I really don't think there's any reason why starters couldn't go. You know, they only average 6 innings anyway. Why they couldn't pitch 6 innings every 4 days.
Jeter bloops one towards foul territory, going over to Stevens near the stands, and he can't get it. About 1 or 2 rows back. Good effort by the first baseman.
You see him take a quick glance at the stands to see how much room he's got. Those are hometown fans. Well, maybe he's got a Yankee cap on. Of course, once it crosses that barrier, it's fair game for the fans. They can grab it.
2-2 on Jeter. 4-man rotation.
It'll rust out before it'll burn out.
You know, I believe you can get by a month of that. But now the way you have to go back to the minor leagues and retrain pitchers all over again. They're not trained to work every 4 days.
They aren't. The arm was, but they aren't. You're right. It has to start there. But pitching would be a lot better if they all went to it.
To the corner. Call strike 3. Good fastball from Aaron Seeley. His 4th strikeout of the ball game.
Well, we've said, Kenny, those borderline pitches have not gone the way of the pitcher. Let's see exactly what Chuck Merriweather saw here. You see the movement? That's nice late movement on the pitch of Aaron Seeley. Rodriguez sets up outside, and from that angle, certainly that caught the corner.
Two down. Knobloch still at first. Jeter, as you might expect, not too happy with that last call. Here is Paul O'Neill. Checking on Knobloch over at first is Seeley.
Derek, who has really kept his strikeout total down now in the last few games, he struck out 3 times in his last 6 at bats.
Ball strike to Paul O'Neill. But he had a couple of those against Kelvin Escobar.
Yeah, a lot of those strikeouts kind of depend on who's out on the mound. Hideki Irabu beginning to loosen in the Yankee bullpen.
Last time Hideki got up was final game of the Blue Jays series. Trying to stay sharp. O'Neill with a bouncing ball foul. And the way that Jeter and O'Neill tore up Ranger pitching here in Texas last year, you know they went to the videotape over the winter and try and do something different. Here is O'Neill against Seeley. Some pretty good numbers lifetime. Remember we mentioned that Seeley has had problems in the past against left-handed hitting. Fastball in there for call strike 3. O'Neill does not believe it. 3 strikeouts for Aaron Seeley this inning. We've played 2.5 here in Texas. Texas with a big lead. 5-0 Rangers, bottom of the 3rd inning. Roger Clemens, his night is over. Behind Chuck Merriweather there he is. That's Hideki Irabu, who's come on to pitch. And this is his first appearance since April the 16th at Detroit, when he threw 3 scoreless innings, 3 perfect innings against the Tigers.
And Kenny, the discussion on the mound between Mel Stottlemyre, home plate umpire Chuck Merriweather, and Hideki, they were explaining to Hideki, evidently Roger Clemens at the last minute must have said something was bothering him or the decision was made late, because Irabu will get as much time as he needs to get ready. So this is an injury-related replacement.
You know, in between innings, Joe Girardi came out to take his position, said something to Chuck Merriweather. Merriweather then went over and talked to Johnny Oates, the Rangers manager. Then Mel Stottlemyre came out and talked to Merriweather to kind of, with the conclusion that Clemens was not coming back. So Irabu, who was warming up in the bullpen, now gets as much time as he wants on the mound. Let's go back to the first inning. And maybe a problem even then for Roger Clemens.
Yeah, whether he didn't have his good stuff, again, don't discredit these Ranger hitters, but they touched him up for 5 runs in the first inning. This was the big blow. Todd Zeile, a double off the left field wall, scoring runs 4 and 5. All smiles for Texas in the first.
So Arabu will come on here in the 3rd inning. And he appears to be ready.
Doesn't take long to warm up a Rolls Royce.
Let's check out our upcoming Delta Airlines schedule before Arabu gets busy here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Tomorrow night, right here at 7 o'clock, check the time, right here on MSG, the Yankees will play the middle game of the 3-game series. Then on Thursday, they close it out at 8 o'clock, right here on MSG. Friday and Saturday, 7:30 against the Royals, Kauffman Stadium on MSG. Sunday at 1:30. Then Monday, it's a 4-game series against the Royals at 7:30. All games right here on MSG. Arabu will face Juan Gonzalez, and the first pitch is in there for a call strike.
Kenny, it'll be interesting to watch Hideki Arabu's footwork tonight. Mel Stottlemyre has been working with him on trying to get more weight on the balls of his feet. As the great Warren Spahn used to say, pitching is toe-to-toe. Wow. That's pretty impressive first 2 pitches right there.
Good fastball for a strike, and then an off-speed curveball, and Gonzalez is quickly in the hole, 0-2.
See, right there, you push off the ball of the foot, and you hope to land on the ball of that foot, and he did that. You can see the heel is clearly off the ground, and a good break on the curveball.
Way ahead on the count. Gonzalez swinging at an 0-2 fastball. A little looper towards center coming on is Bernie Williams. It's going to drop in front of him for a base hit. Well, Bernie Williams almost clashed it up against the center field wall with Gonzalez at the plate. And off the end of the bat for a base hit.
Yeah, nothing wrong with this pitch. It's an 0-2 pitch, and Gonzalez takes it about 6 inches off the ground. But if you're Bernie Williams, Gonzalez is hitting, you're playing deep. When he takes a big swing, you anticipate that ball coming out there a little farther, and just that little hesitation in breaking in is all Gonzalez needed to bloop it in there.
He's aboard for the 2nd time. He drew a walk in the 1st inning. That'll bring up Rafael Palmeiro, who singled and drove in a run in the 1st. Bouncing ball, foul. Palmeiro has such a quick stroke, Kitty. I think he can pull anybody's fastball. Got a picture-perfect swing. If I were to come back and have anybody swing, I'd take Rafi's.
Yeah, he probably is as quick on the inside pitch. The left-hand hitter that comes to mind immediately for me is Billy Williams, Hall of Famer.
The Whistler.
Yep. Yeah, when you're a left-hand pitcher and you throw fairly hard, you say there's no left-hander can pull me, and then when Billy Williams starts ripping you 15 feet fouled on the right field line, you say that this guy's got some quick hands. And Palmeiro swings that same way. I don't know if I'd say it's as sweet a swing as Billy Williams. That was one of the all-time greats.
Pitches upstairs, and count is 1-1 on Palmeiro. They're trying to get Chad Curtis's attention in left field and move him towards the gap in left center. Now they finally did. Now he's going to move over a couple of steps. Jose Cardell was at the top steps, and it looked like he was bringing in a 747, trying to get him to move. Pitch is fouled off, and the count is 1-1. Palmeiro still recovering from the effects of a couple of knee surgeries this winter. Originally hurt the knee, had the surgery, then while rehabbing and jogging, hurt it again. There's Jose.
Long night already in that Yankee dugout.
Runners going, and the pitch is pulled foul down the right field side. Well back into the seats.
Johnny Oates not going to stay put, not against this Yankee lineup. He probably remembers last year when the Yankees behind David Wells had his team down 9-0. And David Wells departed after 2 2/3 innings. The Yankees still came back and won that game, but and our producer Leon Schweier reminds us Kenny Merriweather was behind he's a high-scoring umpire.
Ground ball foul. How does he remember? How does Leon remember that?
How does he do it? Must have Eddie Caginelli at his side.
Yeah. Well, some umpires are known to make the pitchers throw the ball over the plate, and some are known to give the pitchers a break.
Yeah, that's why they're all human and all the strike zones are different.
One day they might have a machine back there.
Hope not.
No, me too. There's call strike 3 to the outside corner, and Palmeiro knew it. Good fastball by Arabu. There's the first strikeout of a Ranger hitter tonight.
Looked like Palmeiro looking for the local and got the express. I mean, that had plenty on it, and Palmeiro knew it. So far, very impressive, even in the sequence to Gonzalez where he gave up the bloop single for Hideki Arabu.
Here's Pudge Rodriguez, grounded out, but got an RBI. Also stole the base and scored a run. But one thing we know about Arabu, he's well rested. Hasn't pitched since April the 16th. One day after tax day. Pitches in there for a call strike to Rodriguez. And you know how quickly we like to forget tax day. Gonzalez at first with one out here in the bottom of the third. Pitch is hit in the air and foul down the right field side.
And with all that rest you mentioned, Kenny, it's to Arabu's credit to come out and pitch like he is right now, very aggressively, even though he hasn't pitched in about 10, 11 days. He's been out there in the bullpen. Even when he doesn't have a ball in his hand, you can see him working on the footwork of that new pitching motion that Mel Stottlemyre has been working with him on.
Pitch is line foul, working both corners in and out. Another thing, you know, it has to be in the back of your mind for Arabu. The Yankees haven't scored yet. It's very rare they get shut out. So if they could put something together here, maybe he can pick up a win. Kind of get back into good graces of things, and maybe try and fight his way back in a rotation somehow.
Sure, if you're Hideki Arabu, you pitch this game like it's nothing to nothing right here.
Looked like he tried to break out the splitter. Couldn't get it to work that time, but the count goes to 1-2.
Good time for it, 0-2. That's only the second ball he's thrown out of 13 pitches this inning.
Here's Todd Zeile. He wishes he were a switch hitter, but he'll be up there right-handed. Be interesting to watch and see the communication in the dugout after Arabu comes out of the inning. Pitches hit in the air to right field. O'Neill took one step in, now drifts back a bit, makes the catch, and they're 2 down.
The communication between Mel Stottlemyre and well, most good pitching coaches, and Mel falls into that category, are encouragers. So all the work he's put in, and Arabu has an inning like this, I think you're right. He's going to congratulate him on the good job he did here in the third inning.
Double to cap off the first inning, drove home the final 2 runs for the Rangers. Todd Zeile, a solid hitter. Nice curveball, drops in for a call strike. Arabu has come in getting just about all of his pitches over, and we really haven't seen the Arabu put-away pitch, that splitter.
Yeah.
Pitch is fouled off. Quickly ahead, no balls and 2 strikes.
Boy, his motion has gotten a lot more compact. I think if you put a stopwatch on it from start to finish, he gives you a little tuck with that left shoulder, gets the ball out of the glove much quicker. The whole motion has a faster pace to it, which should add a little sharpness to the breaking ball.
Crisp, more crisp.
Exactly.
Zeile wouldn't bite. The count moves to a ball and 2 strikes.
His fastball, and they clock it here on the scoreboard. Of course, that's been such a big item in the last decade, is the miles per hour of the fastball is 92 to 93 consistently.
There's a splitter, chopped foul at the plate by Zeile to stay alive. Oh, split figure, 83 miles an hour.
Who they got stealing those signs?
What happens? Do they put question mark up there when they don't know? Lee Stevens on deck. Check on Gonzalez at first. His next steal will be his second of the year. The Rangers outside a good one really don't run all that much. There he goes. Pitches in there for a called strike. And that's going to be it. So Todd Zeile called out on strikes. Hideki Irabu picks up a couple of strikeouts here in the third. The Rangers do not score. We played 3 full. Yankees down by 5.
Well, a stunner so far from a Yankee perspective. Roger Clemens goes only 2 innings, gives up 5 runs. Hi, everybody. Al Troutwig along with Ken Singleton. How about Hideki Irabu, Kenny? He throws 19 pitches, 16 were strikes.
Well, coming out of and he hasn't worked since what, April the 16th. So that's it's obvious he's been thrown in the bullpen, thrown on the side.
Aaron Seeley for the Texas Rangers has held the Yankees to 3. Bernie Williams swings and misses on strike 1.
Well, that foul tip got a piece of Chuck Merriweather, and things are going to slow down here for a little while. That strike call, the next one might not be so loud, or at least a little higher. See, Bernie giving him some time. Now this is what a hitter should do when trying to get the good graces of an umpire. Just step out for a while, give him a little breathe, catch his breath.
And Bernie just gets a little piece of that big Aaron Seeley curveball we've seen, and he's had great success striking out 5 Yankees so far.
3 of them last inning. Around a base hit by Chuck Knobloch.
Looks like Bernie knocked the stitches off that one.
Got to be kidding me.
Interesting little souvenir for the guys in the Yankee dugout.
I wonder if that was a ball that was just fouled off. They're looking at it as if it was
Clay Bellinger inspecting.
Hey,
Clay's got a look on his face like, how did this happen?
Haven't seen that since Little League.
And Bernie changes Aaron Seeley's rhythm once again. Be interesting to find out the story on Roger Clemens when the game is over. It's one of those things that the post game is made for. Clemens goes 2 innings, gives up 4 hits, 5 runs, 2 walks, and struck out nobody. This is 2 out of his last 3 starts now where he's been hit pretty hard, and I think the one thing that I noticed, Kenny, is he's not blowing anybody away.
Yeah, as we mentioned, the only swing and a miss I think he got all night long was on a splitter, not on a fastball.
Ground ball by Bernie, played by McLemore. And there's 1 gone here in the Yankee 4th. 4th inning means it's time for the Aflac Trivia Quiz. 2 of Don Zimmer's players on the 1982 Rangers went on to become Major League managers. Name them.
The funny thing about those 2, Zimmer said they used to sit in the corner of the clubhouse laughing after ball games. Zim thought they were trying to plot ways to get him fired.
Ground ball by Tino, played by Todd Zeile. Yankees not hitting anything with power off of Aaron Seeley. So 4-3 and a 5-3 on your scorecard. 2 Yankee outs. Zeile with one of the big blasts, a 2-run shot over the head of Chad Curtis in that 5-run first.
As the Yankees came into town, in the newspaper today, of course, the world champions will heralded wherever they go. But they mentioned the Yankees will be followed by the Cleveland Indians, and this week might be a barometer for Texas Ranger fans of how good a club that they do have. Can they indeed put a crimp in the Yankee style? So far tonight they have, at least in Roger Clemens style.
Yeah, absolutely. Here's Chile, who's been anything but. Strike 1. He singled in his first at bat and then was left stranded. Yankees also got a leadoff double in the first inning by Chuck Knobloch and couldn't bring him in.
19 runs batted in for Chili Davis, 3rd in the American League.
Rangers have been averaging 31,000. Yankees bringing out a much bigger crowd tonight at the ballpark in Arlington. I want to tell you, Kenny, down on the field, the bugs will drive you crazy. They got these little gnats that come out of the grass after they cut the grass. Chile swings at the high pitch, and Rusty Greer's capable glove got it. So the Yankees get nothing off of Aaron Seeley in the top of the 4th inning. The Rangers try to build on their 5-0 lead in a moment. Back on MSG, Hideki Irabu about to take on left-hand hitter Lee Stevens. Swings and misses, badly fooled by the speed on that pitch of Hideki Irabu. It was when Irabu was at his absolute lowest that his interpreter and now friend George Rose took him into a room with some old footage of Hideki pitching in Japan. Ground ball to Martinez. He'll play it easily, and for the record, Irabu was over to cover. He showed Irabu confidently throwing the ball with a lot of bounce in his step, confident, and he looked at him and he sort of hit him on the shoulder and said, "Where is that Hideki? Where is the man who played like that?" And from what Hideki said, it was sort of that moment that snapped him to it. Certainly couldn't have gotten much worse. And now with a lot of help from Mel Stottlemyre, you know, maybe this is a major corner being turned by Hideki Irabu.
Well, he just got Lee Stevens out, who he faced over in the Pacific League.
And the team that Lee Stevens played for, Ken, was the
Kintetsu Buffaloes.
Did not know that.
Yeah. Spent 1 year over there, had a good year, hit 20 home runs, and found his way back to the States.
Now it's Royce Clayton. He's got the glove. All he's got to do now is hit. High fly ball to center field. Bernie's going back and back, and he's got it at the track. Royce Clayton with warning track power. 2 outs here in the 4th. Time to go. See those bugs there? 2 of Don Zimmer's players on the '82 Rangers went on to become managers in the major leagues. Name them. I believe one is named Parrish, is he not? Larry Parrish and Buddy Bell, who ironically both managed with the Detroit Tigers. Larry Parrish following Buddy Bell.
But they're not the only 2 players who have gone on to be managers that have played for Don Zimmer. How about Pat Corrales, Cito Gaston in San Diego, Butch Hobson, Tommy Helms, Glenn Hoffman, and Tony Perez.
I mean, to be fair, I mean, Don's been around forever.
Exactly.
I mean, he's been exposed to probably 1,000 players. The odds were good that he managed some guys that would manage. Another fly ball toward the gap in right center. Bernie sachets over and covers the ground with ease. So another very snappy inning by Hideki Irabu as he bids sayonara to the Rangers. 1-2-3 in the 4th. Big crowd at the ballpark in Arlington. Want to tell you about the Knicks. Every game of the few they've got left critical. Knicks Hawks on PAX TV 31 beginning at 7 with MCS Cannon Knicks game night tomorrow. The Knicks and the Hawks. Chad Curtis sends a fly ball deep to the gap in right center field. Everybody gives chase, and it is gone. A leadoff home run for Chad Curtis puts the Yankees on the board. 5-1. Boy, it didn't look gone to me, Jim Cott, when it took off his bat, but it just kept flying.
It's Texas. It's hot. The hitters are stronger. The ball is wound considerably tighter than it was years ago, and it all adds up to a lot more home runs. And that was a curveball. That was a breaking ball that Seeley hung just a bit.
So it's a 4-run ball game here in the 4th. Chad Curtis gets the attaboys in the Yankee dugout. Meanwhile, Hideki Irabu, his last 2 starts, he's faced, not starts, but last 2 appearances, has faced 17 batters, and only 1 has reached base.
I think the impressive thing tonight for Irabu, 26 pitches, 21 strikes
on his game, and maybe he can give the Yankees big innings, which is what they want from him tonight. Soho lunges at one, backhanded nicely by Zeal across the diamond, and Soho is retired. One more look.
It appears to be a breaking ball, and it just hung in the middle of the plate. Chad took it the other way, but We've talked about Clemens and Arabu, but what gets lost in this game is Aaron Seeley. You really have to give Seeley a lot of credit, even in that at-bat. He gives up a home run bingo. He's right back throwing strikes. The Rangers have walked fewer men than any staff in the league. And there again is another strike. That's a big change in Aaron Seeley. I would say 2 years ago after he gave up a home run, it had been 2-0, 3-1.
Right.
He'd labor through it. Now he just looks like he's got a lot more confidence and he's more aggressive.
Strike one to Joe Girardi, who fanned his first time up. Ground ball to short. Clayton. Oh, nice grab at first by Lee Stevens. He had to cut across the foul line with Girardi coming right in on him.
Yeah, a little almost too lackadaisical on the part of Royce Clayton. He just flipped that over there, and Girardi hustling all the way out by a stride, and he forced Stevens to go into foul territory and make the grab.
We've gotten the word from the Yankee clubhouse, or more specifically the trainer's room. Roger Clemens, after 2 innings, reporting stiffness in his hamstring.
Left hamstring, which would be the leg that he plants on. So, you know, if that's serious enough to keep him out of start, Hideki Arabu's performance tonight might get him a start.
Here's Chuck Knobloch, who's had a perfect night at the plate. A double and a single. And the moment of controversy, so to speak, in that first inning was when Knobloch was on third with 1 out, and Paul O'Neill hit a little dribbler to the right side, and Knobloch barely moved. I couldn't believe it, Jim. When the ball was hit, I thought, okay, Yankees get a run. And when I looked up and he was still at third base, I couldn't believe it.
I didn't think that much of it at the time. Of course, I was watching the...
Wow. That's a fair ball. Knobloch continues to hit. And he'll stop at second base with a stand-up double. 3 for 3 on the night. So it's the first inning the Yankees have had more than 1 hit.
They go inside, he pulls it. They go outside, he hits it the other way.
Boy, he got his whole body into that swing, too. Fair by a foot.
Back to your point on the first inning play, as Greer digs that out of the corner. I didn't think that much of it at first because I was watching the ball tapped out toward the plate, but a couple things enter in there with, as Kenny pointed out, Zeal was playing right on the bag. You know, maybe the Yankees are saying, hey, make the ball go through with the infield in.
Derek Jeter sends one to center field. What a play to stop it on 1 hop out there by Tom Goodwin. But Knobloch will score on Jeter's ripped single to center field. But if he does not make that play on his butt, that thing rolls all the way to the wall, and who knows with Derek Jeter's speed how far he could have gone.
Boy, you're exactly right. A bit of a gamble by Tom Goodwin. He thought for a minute that he could have caught that ball, and it was only those amazing reflexes. Right there, he says, I can catch it. No, I can't. He sticks the glove up, and you're right. If he doesn't catch it, Knobloch, of course, is not going to hesitate with 2 out. And that could have been an inside-the-park home run had that got by Goodwin.
So a clutch 2-out single by Derek Jeter makes it 5-2. The hitter is Paul O'Neill, whose frustrations continues. Grounded out and struck out. And he laces one out to left field. Played on a hop by Rusty Greer. Now the Yankees have 2 on with 2 out. And that's got to feel great and a little relief inside the mind of Paul O'Neill.
Outside pitch, takes it the other way. And what the Yankees have to be saying in that dugout right now is, remember last year we had them down 9 runs. You see O'Neill with the pitch away from him, does not try to pull it. One of the better opposite field hitters in all of baseball. You're not going to get him trying to pull the outside pitch. And now, just like that, we've talked, Al, about Aaron Seeley cruising along, 5-0 lead, throwing strikes. He's 1 swing away from this game being tied.
I don't know why I'm thinking of it, but I'm thinking Wohlers Leyritz. It's that kind of a feeling.
Yeah.
You know, the game seems so one-sided and lost. And now here's Bernie Williams. He'll hit from the left side. Bernie has struck out and grounded to second, hitting .314, still with only 1 home run on the season, which he hit from this side of the plate into the upper deck in Yankee Stadium. So the conference on the mound for the Rangers has broken up. Ballpark a little anxious. And once again, Bernie steps out to make Seeley do the same. Jeter singled in Knobloch, and O'Neill singled him to second base. And Bernie sends one right to Royce Clayton, who handles the low shot easily. And that is it. The Yankees strand 2. But they get 2 runs, and it all started with the leadoff home run to Chad Curtis.
You're watching MSG Network, celebrating 10 years of award-winning Yankee coverage.
The Yanks are in Texas to battle the Rangers again tomorrow on MSG.
MSG, more strikeouts guaranteed.
Mark McLemore digs in to face Hideki Irabu for the first time, and Irabu's done well. There you see the season of their lives, the Yankee home video from 1998. It's now only $13.95. For a long time, it was the top-selling sports video in all of New York. 1-800-637-8172 from spring training all the way through to the parade. Al Troutwig along with Jim Cott, Ken Singleton back in the next inning. The Yankees getting 2 back, and it's a 5-2 game. Mark McLemore hitting .317. He's 1 for 2 in the game. That little toe lift there by Hideki Irabu is a real visual cue to something he's using. Knobloch a high to Tino Martinez, but no problem on the throw, so Irabu rolls along.
Yeah, it's almost like dialing the clock back and watching American Bandstand. You say, hey, it's got some rhythm, it's got a nice beat to it. I give it an 84, but the little hesitation or the little dip that he's taking is what's creating the rhythm. He turns his hip, he gets his hip facing the hitter, and then he takes just a little dip on that back leg right there. And I think that gives him, I referred to it earlier, Warren Spahn, the Hall of Famer. I had a chance to work with him when I was a youngster. You see ball of the foot, leg will dip a little bit, then on the ball of the next foot, of the left foot. And Spahn always said pitching is toe to toe. You push off one toe, you land on the other toe, you get all your momentum going toward the target.
Now this is rare. Tonight he's 3-0. He's been throwing all strikes just about. Longest Yankee road trip of the season. And it starts off in hot Texas. And he walks him on 4 pitches. That looked right down the middle to me.
And there's them. Well, this is a crew, if you follow American League Baseball, this is a crew that is involved in several controversies throughout the year. So you see where Girardi caught it, but to catch it there, it had to come across the knees, certainly. A pitch we usually see called a strike. Both benches early in this game have had a few questions for Chuck Meriwether's strike zone.
Certainly could have been a little low. Here's Juan Gonzalez, who's walked and singled. He was the first man Irabu faced, and it was a little blooper into center field. Now he goes out to right. O'Neill gives chase, but he won't be able to get to it. Gonzalez stops now, sprints for second base. O'Neill digs it out and throws to Martinez. It puts runners at second and third. It's the first threat against Hideki Irabu.
Well, the first time up, he took it off the ground, and that one is upstairs. In fact, it looked like Juan almost tried to check his swing on it. Watch the bat. See, he almost tried to hold up, but he is so strong that he still drove it down the right field line for a double.
Well, certainly one thing the Yankees do not want to see the Rangers do is put more runs up on the board.
And because of that, they'll bring the infield in.
With Rafael Palmeiro at the plate. And he sends one high down the line. It'll go foul. Who would you rather have, Rafael Palmeiro or Will Clark?
I think at this stage, probably Palmeiro.
I think so, too. I don't think there's any doubt. So the Rangers improved at that position. Greer at third, Gonzalez at second. That'll be a foul ball.
Now, you love these kind of numbers, Al. You love this kind of history. Roger Clemens in his 454th start.
Yeah.
It's only the second time he's allowed 5 runs in the first inning. You go back to 1989. He allowed 5 runs, and part of that was Chili Davis was
is that right?
Was involved in that. That was the Red Sox against the Angels back in 1989.
Well, thanks to Steve Hurt of the Elias Sports Bureau. Palmeiro had that time perfectly, fouls it straight back. See, in 1989, if it happened, I wouldn't think twice. 1999, at his age, gets my attention a little bit.
Because you're thinking, well, maybe.
Well, you know, it's possible.
Sure.
I know what Yankee fans are thinking at home tonight.
Oh,
many Yankee fans are sitting around the television weighing the trade, that's for certain.
No pun intended.
And that one goes into the dirt, and it's going to cost the Yankees a run. A wild pitch from Hideki Irabu. Girardi had no chance, and that goes into the photo dugout. It's 6-2.
Trying to polish Palmeiro off with the splitter, and you're right. Girardi did everything he could, shifted the body over, got a shoulder on it, and all Rusty Greer has to do is trot home.
Gonzalez advances to third on the play. There's ex-Yankee Roberto Kelly. We haven't seen him yet, and he's been hitting well when he's gotten the chance. That's off the plate to Rafael Palmeiro. So it's 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Fouled straight back. That curveball that went in the dirt was registered at 68 miles an hour. You can throw 92 and be successful with one that's 68. Wow, I mean, the hitters will never have a chance.
Well, that's one of the secrets to pitching, be able to change speeds and get them all over the plate.
We'll do the 2-2 again. He got Rafael Palmeiro. Third strikeout by Hideki.
Challenged him with the fastball a couple of times, and then this appeared to be the splitter. Knee high, and you'll see the bottom drop out of it. Most split finger fastballs are never strikes. They look like strikes, and then hitters swing at them. They're just out of the strike zone. That's what they're designed to do.
Now Ivan Rodriguez reached on a fielder's choice and then flied out, so officially he's 0 for 2. Pops it straight back. You know, if Irabu can somehow get out of this jam, that wild pitch will really bother him even more. Tell you, Juan Gonzalez is having a good time tonight. He's been laughing and smiling, and
he's back home. These guys been on a long road trip.
Fly ball to right. O'Neill barely moves. And that is it. But off the wild pitch, a walk and a double, the Rangers had a run. So as we go to the 6th at 6-2, I'll see you on the post game. Ken Singleton rejoins Jim Cott in a moment. But first, Bill Daughtry gives us the latest from the MSG Sports Desk. Bill?
Thank you, Al Troutwig. New York Mets in trouble against the Padres tonight. Padres lead at 6-2 in the 9th. It was a 2-2 game innings ago, specifically the 5th inning when Greg Myers rips this bomb to center field off Masato Yoshi, the starting pitcher. McRae can't catch up with it. 2 hops the wall. Tony Gwynn scores, and Wally Joyner scores. No longer a 2-2 tie. It is a 4-2 San Diego lead. The third run, as you see, thrown out at the plate. Padres lead at 6-2 in the 9th. Sergey Brilin, watch him off the faceoff there. there he is right there. Niedermeyer make the pass to Sergei for the goal, and the Devils made it 3-1 there. They lead Pittsburgh in they beat Pittsburgh tonight 4-2. We'll have more for you right after this. At the Meadowlands tonight, it was all Miami. They pounded the New Jersey Nets 95-76. Nets, of course, playing without all of their key players. Keith Van Horn out for the rest of the season with the bad thumb. Time to go back down to Arlington, Texas, where the Yankees are playing catch-up on MSG.
Thanks, Bill. Back at the ballpark at Arlington, we head to the top of the sixth there, and Seeley got a insurance run that time, 6-2, 4-run lead. And Kenny, during this inning, when Chili Davis comes up, I want to ask you about changing bats as you get on in years in your career. He's due up second.
Okay, we're going to have Tino Martinez leading off, and then Chili Davis, followed by Chad Curtis. The Yankees came up with 2 runs on 4 hits. Kind of closed things up a little bit, but Rangers came back with that run. Tino tonight, slide out and grounded out 0 for 2. Fastball's upstairs, ball 1. You know, thinking of that wild pitch that Hideki Irabu threw last inning, Kitty, I was standing here thinking that the splitter is really a touch pitch and maybe he didn't have the feel for it. But he came right back through a real good one, struck Palmeiro out.
I think that was one he wanted to make sure he got down, and even giving up that run, the 3 innings he's pitched, the Yankees have to be very encouraged by what they've seen out of him tonight.
Ooh, laced to right field, and it's going to drop in front of Gonzalez for a solid line drive single. Off the bat of Tino Martinez, leading off the 6th inning.
Boy, this is going to get Johnny Oates fidgeting around on that bench. He has seen it all year long. There's Dick Bosman up, the pitching coach. They'll have that bullpen ready in a minute.
New York Yankees baseball is brought to you in part by Payne Weber. Thank you, Payne Weber, for the advice. And by Ford Cars and Trucks, built for the way you live. Yankees have out-hit the Rangers 8-6. They trail 6-2 in the all-important run column. Another solid line drive by Lee Stevens towards the corner. Chili Davis is going to hit for second, and Tino Martinez is on his way to third. 2 balls ripped by Martinez and Davis. Chili's second hit of the night, 9th for the Yankees in the game.
Seeley aggressive, throwing strikes. Yankee hitters know it, and that's a big improvement by Chili Davis this year. American League pitchers the last couple of years, of course, last year he missed most of it with injury, have been able to get the fastball inside on him. And while Dick Bosman makes the trip to the mound, we see Stevens almost catch that ball, and Tino Martinez will scamper to third. Might give me a chance to ask you about that. I said to Chili before the game, are you using a lighter bat? Because the word out of Tampa Bay is that Jose Canseco is now using a bat 2 inches shorter, considerably lighter, and he's getting around on the inside pitch. Chili said, no, it's a bat from Japan that Rob Deere, my ex-teammate from the Giants, I first used his. It's 35-33, so he's using the same lumber he does the last 5-6 years.
You know, every once in a while you see the hitters come down and wait, just trying to keep your reflexes slow down. It's not that you can't hit the ball. As we look at Jeff Zimmerman warming up quickly in the Rangers bullpen. Chad Curtis is up. He homered last time to get the Yankees on the scoreboard. Because your reflexes slow down. It's not such that the pitchers are throwing any harder. It's just you can't swing the bat as fast. So you drop down in the weight of your bat.
Yeah, I thought that's what Chili might have been doing, but he said no.
Second and third, nobody out here in the 6th inning. Curveball, line drive to third. There's no other play for Todd Zeile. So 3 balls hit hard. This one right at a Ranger infielder.
I mean, the Yankees are attacking these pitches like they know what's coming. I mean, first pitch swinging, that's a breaking ball, and hit well. Another hanger, almost the same pitch that he hit for a home run. That one broke a little bit lower. But I mean, Chad Curtis swung at that pitch. He was either guessing curve, he swung at it like he knew it was coming.
Here is Luis Sojo, who was popped out and grounded out 0 for 2. Curveball, a little bit low for ball 1. Yankees trying to fight their way back into this one. Rangers scored 5 times in the 1st inning against the Rocket. Roger Clemens. Curveball, that's a strike, 1-1. Clemens left the ball game in the third inning with tightness in the hamstring. Hideki Irabu has come on and has allowed 1 run. Soho fouls this one back, and the count is a ball and 2 strikes.
And again, I really have to give credit to Aaron Seeley. The Yankees are starting to rip the ball around the lot on him, but he is not backing off. He's going to make you beat him. He's throwing strikes.
Looks like Zimmerman is ready in the bullpen. Curveball bounced towards short. This will get another run home. In fact, all hands will be safe as Clayton will make the error. Didn't come up with it cleanly. And we said how good a shortstop he is, but that time he had plenty of time to make the play, just didn't come up with it. It is now a 6-3 ball game.
Everything in the proper position, just tries to get the ball out of the glove before he really had control of it. Tried to get into the throwing position and lost the ball out of the glove. Usually sure-handed Royce Clayton, who's made a couple of nice plays already tonight.
Joe Girardi will come up with runners in first and second. And 1 down. Girardi through the right side, a base hit. Chili Davis is going to be held at third as Gonzalez gets the ball in quickly. And the Yankees will have the bases loaded, and they have the tying runs on. And Johnny Oates will be coming out of the dugout.
Inside pitch, and Joe Girardi had one thing in mind. Hit it the other way, stay out of the double play, and that's exactly what he did. You see Chili looking back, knows he's not going to be waved home with the Yankees down a few.
That's going to be it for Aaron Seeley as he works 5 1/3. He departs. And this call to the bullpen is brought to you by Teligent, the Yankees' official local, long distance, and internet provider. Now you're looking at Jeff Zimmerman, who's come in and out of the bullpen in relief of Aaron Seeley. Well, the Yankees have now cut the Ranger lead to 6-3. Bases loaded. 1 out, and Chuck Knobloch coming to the plate. Knobloch 3 for 3 with a couple of doubles and a single. Jeff Zimmerman has been a wonderful story for the Rangers today.
11 scoreless innings. That's the most by any Ranger rookie making his debut. And this is a great story for the Canadian native who actually pitched some professional baseball in France. Got the attention of a few baseball people, Northern League, and
right now he faces Knobloch with the bases loaded. Knobloch tries to check his swing and fouls it off.
This is by far the most pressure-packed situation Jeff Zimmerman's ever been in. We mentioned he's a 26-year-old rookie. Not an overpowering pitcher, got a bit of a herky-jerky motion, a lot of confidence, and a nice sharp break on his slider, which is, I would think, he'd be trying to use right here and get a double play ball.
The league is hitting just .086 against Zimmerman. Knobloch, solid line drive, left field, base hit. The Yankees will get 1, and the bases will remain loaded. It is now a 6-4 game, and Chuck Knobloch is 4 for 4. 2 doubles and 2 singles, and now picks up his first run bat at the end of the night.
And that Yankee dugout can feel it. You can sense it in as he tried to throw the slider, hung it high and inside. And when you're swinging a bat like Chuck Knobloch, you're just not going to miss those pitches. All runners had to hold to see whether Greer would actually catch that ball, so they move up a base at a time.
You see the reaction of Don Zimmer on the bench. I think he's trying to remember the last time when David Wells was on the mound and gave up a lot of runs, and the Yankees fought their way back. Jeter swings and misses on a high fastball. 1 for 3 tonight with a single in his last at bat. Came in tonight leading the league in hitting. His average now stands at .412. Look out. Straighten Jeter up. What do you say? Jeter's about 6'1", 6'2"?
Got this inside on the homestand. Derek got straightened up by the Toronto pitchers, and the pitch after that, he drove to right center field. And sometimes a pitch like that just makes the hitter a little sharper.
Well, it makes him a lot more aggressive on anything close to the strike zone. Slider, Jeter wouldn't chase, and the count goes to 2 balls and a strike. Showing some discipline there. 8 of his 15 runs batted in either tied the game or given the Yankees the lead. So more than half of his RBIs have been in very, very clutch situations. Right now up here with the bases loaded and 1 out, the Yankees down by 2. Hideki Irabu checking the scoreboard. Slider swung on and missed. 2-2. That's the pitch you're talking about.
Yeah, that's what the Rangers like about Zimmerman. They talk about the tilt on his slider. Let's check out the break of this. See, that slider goes down. A lot of sliders break laterally. That one had a lot of down action to it, and that's what got the attention of the Ranger people when they first saw Jeff Zimmerman.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Slider, bounce towards Zeal at third, steps on the bag for 1, throws in the dirt, dug out by Stevens with a double play.
Has to do is touch the bag and watch the pick on the receiving end to bail the Rangers out.
Fans, New York Yankee baseball brought to you in part by your Tri-State Jeep dealers. Jeep, the most award-winning brand of 4x4s on earth. And by New York Life. Integrity, humanity, and strength are what make New York Life the company you keep. Bottom of the 6th, Hideki Irabu working to Todd Zeal, pumps the first fastball in there for a call strike. Dick Bosman on the phone talking to the bullpen. There's no action down there as of yet. Or maybe he's not talking to the bullpen. Fastball rides a little high, a ball and a strike. Yankees creeping in this one. We're down 5-0. Now it's a 6-4 game.
I would think he might be talking to the bullpen. The Rangers have added a left-hander since the Yankees saw him last.
Strong fastball by Hideki Irabu, pumped right on by Todd Zeal.
Looks so much more confident, Irabu does. Not taking as much time between pitches.
Another fastball is fouled straight back.
Mentioned the left-hander. The Rangers, to replace the injured John Burkett, brought up Mike Venafro, and he is a submarining left-hander from way down under. And, Paul O'Neill, Bernie Williams, Tino Martinez, the due-up hitters next inning for the Yankees.
Splitter hangs up high, and the count goes to 2 balls and 2 strikes. Almost has a very unique look to that pronounced hop, step, and a jump as he throws a fastball to Zeal, who hits a ball about head high and flies out to center field. There is 1 down. So Irabu picks up the first out here in the bottom of the 6th.
Another look at the Irabu ballet. You see him go up on the toe, up, and then the heel comes back down so that he can push. Actually, a pitcher doesn't push as much as he falls. The motion is more gravity. You know, if you weigh 240 pounds and you start letting your body fall toward home plate, you got all that gravity working for you with the slope of the mound.
Hit hard, base hit for Lee Stevens. O'Neill will cut it off in the gap and get it back in. So Stevens with a single with 1 out. Man, he's been swinging a good bat. He's now 1 for 3. And Royce Clayton will step to the plate. 0 for 2 tonight. When you're hitting a .122, you need more than a Band-Aid to stop the bleeding.
Yeah, with 1 out, he's looking, and he might be saying, please give me the bunt sign. With 1 out, he's looking for a sign down there.
Yeah, Band-Aids won't do it. You need a tourniquet. Yeah, I'm laughing up here, and I've been down there.
Everybody has.
Look at that half-hearted swing through a high fastball. He was out here early with the hitting coach Rudy Jaramillo trying to get something going. But it doesn't look like with that type of swing, this particular at-bat's going to be it. When you're hitting 122, you'll take a broken bat, a bunt single, anything. You'll take a walk. Fouls one back, and it always seems you're forever up there with a count 0-2.
This is when coaches and managers will tell you not to let your hitting affect your fielding. That's why it's so important for Royce Clayton to continue to play solidly in the field for the Rangers. As much offense as they have, they don't really need his bat that much, but he can't let his poor hitting affect his fielding. He hasn't so far, except for that one error last inning.
Lifts one in the air to right field for Paul O'Neill on an 0-2 pitch. And there is out number 2. So Royce Clayton now 0 for 3 as Stevens heads back to first. Here's our New York Marriott Marquee matchup on the night. For Aaron Seeley, worked 5 1/3, 10 hits. Couple of earned runs, struck out 5, and to his credit, didn't walk anybody, didn't put any free passes on base. And for the Rocket, who left with a tender hamstring, 2 innings pitch, 4 hits, 5 earned runs, no strikeouts, and a couple of walks. Both walks coming in the first inning. Rabu now will face Tom Goodwin, who drew one of those walks that Clemens gave up in the first inning and eventually came around to score. Check on Stevens at first.
And again, for those that missed it, to show you how rare a night like tonight is for Roger Clemens. Only the second time that's happened to him. The last was back in 1989 when the Angels got 5 runs off him in the first inning.
1 ball, no strikes on Goodwin. We mentioned it. Some of the Texas Ranger hitters have been coming on with the bats of late, and Goodwin is one who is not. It's 2 for his last 21. A ball and a strike.
Yeah, if I was Johnny Oates right now, I almost might be tempted to just take Lee Stevens and say, go ahead and try to steal second base. You'd rather have Goodwin leading off the next inning than hitting right here.
Takes a pitch for a call strike. Maybe with 2 strikes, he'll send it down there. They give Goodwin a chance to start with a fresh count. Stevens does have a stolen base this year. And Arabu will check on him over at first base. Goodwin, who seems to have found what it takes to be a leadoff hitter. Line drive to left field. Coming on is Curtis, and he makes the sliding catch. Chad Curtis with an excellent catch will get Hideki Arabu out of it here in the 6th inning. We've played 6-4 Rangers. 7th inning here in Texas, ballpark at Arlington. 6-4, the Rangers are leading. And tomorrow, Allen Houston and the Knicks are in Atlanta to battle the Hawks. 7:30 start on PAX TV, channel 31. On Metro Guide, it's a 7:30 tip-off in the Motor City as the Nets visit Grand Hill and the Detroit Pistons. Then on Friday, the Devils and the Penguins collide for Game 5 of the playoff series, where the 7:30 face-off at the Meadowlands. There's plenty of action coming your way this week. Please check your local listings. Paul O'Neill had a single left field his last time up, 1 for 3. As the Yankees have 3 more innings to make something happen here in Texas. And they're trying. They've scored 2 in the 6th, 2 in the 5th.
Yeah, there's some nights, Kenny, when nobody has good swings, and you say pitchers really got good stuff to it. Tonight, both teams, I mean, are really having some aggressive swings.
2 top hitting teams in the league last year. Pitches up high for a ball. The Rangers actually, as far as batting average concerned, hit a few points higher than the Yankees, but the Yankees, that all-important run-scoring column, the Yankees scored more runs than any team in baseball. They had a good combination, too. They gave up the fewest. O'Neill lifts one high and deep to center field. Good one going back. Still going back. This one is gone. A home run. Paul O'Neill with a homer. And is now a 6-5 ball game. And for Jeff Zimmerman, a first in the major leagues. The first runs that he has given up. And you know what he'll say? At least it was to a brand name player.
Oh, I'll say it. O'Neill to the opposite field. I mean, the hot weather, the ball is carrying pretty well, but that ball was smoked. And Johnny Oates has had a couple of guys warming up. He's seen this happen all too often this year.
Bernie Williams smashes one foul. Bernie's 0 for 3 on the night, looking for his first hit. Yankees now with 12 hits in the game.
Another look at it. They wanted it down and away. They left it up and away. And when O'Neill looked down, he almost gave you the impression he thought he had enough of it.
And he did. Well over 400 feet to left center field. Yankees down by 1. Good swing by Bernie Williams.
One more look at it.
Yeah, there's the patented head drop. This one,
Yep.
I'm not going to see that one, Maul.
Just a question of how far.
Veteran hitter knows his own strength. Bernie Williams in a hole, no balls and 2 strikes to Jeff Zimmerman. Call strike 3. Well spotted fastball, and Bernie's out of there. One down in the 7th. Zimmerman picks up his first strikeout.
Boy, this good old country hardball tonight. We mentioned the hitters having aggressive swings, but the Rangers, they're not walking anybody. Zimmerman on the 0-2 pitch with a good live fastball. Late movement, catches the inside corner.
Zimmerman will now stare at Tino Martinez, who singled, got it going last inning. Eventually came around to score a run. There's ball 1.
You might think, boy, there's a lot of pressure on this rookie. 1-run lead, 7th inning against the Yankees. He's probably saying, nah, when you've been over in France traveling around pitching, trying to get somebody's attention to get to the big leagues, it's a piece of cake.
Yeah, trying to find a good Merlot or Cabernet.
Right.
Falling behind Tino Martinez, 2 balls and no strikes. Tino swings, bouncing ball to first. Stevens has this one. And that'll be out number 2. 3 unassisted on the play. And that will leave it up to Chili Davis here in the top of the 7th. Lee Stevens filling in at first base for a Gold Glover in Rafael Palmeiro, who can hit but not yet has the mobility on those bad knees, or that bad knee, to play first base. Let's see what Chili Davis has done tonight. What? Only 2 hits, a single and a double. Scored a run. That was last inning. Checked his swing, and it just missed for ball 1.
I think the fact that Chili didn't play a lot last year because of the injuries, it's almost like a breather year. He comes back a little stronger, and the way he approaches his at-bats leads me to believe that he's saying the American League, as you check out the box score, Knobloch perfect 4 for 4. The American League's been trying to pound me inside the last few years, and I'm going to be ready for it.
Swing and a miss, and that will leave an account at a ball and a strike. Chili, as I mentioned, started the night 3rd in the league in RBIs.
There's that slider that really breaks down, unless that was a changeup, but I think that's the Zimmerman slider that has more down break to it than lateral break.
Well, Pudge Rodriguez moved outside, and Zimmerman hit the target. A ball and 2 strikes.
Munoz and Crabtree. Munoz the lefty, ready just in case.
If you're going to go matchups against the Yankee lineup, it's almost as if you're going to use 2 pitchers because the way the lineup is made out. Davis will pop one up in the short left field. Going back is Clayton, the shortstop, and will make the catch. The Yankees get 1 run closer as Paul O'Neill led off the 7th inning with his 4th home run of the year. We played 6.5. We're going to the 7th inning stretch. It is 6-5 Rangers. Mark McLemore will lead it off against Hideki Irabu and swings and misses strike 1. McLemore single in the first, scored 1 for 3 on the night, and the Hideki Irabu has seen the Yankees get him a little bit closer and a little bit closer to maybe picking up a W. Ball and a strike on McLemore. McLemore will be followed by Greer and Gonzalez here in the 7th. Rangers had the big inning, the 5-run outburst in the 1st. They scored one more in the 5th. Bouncing ball foul. The Yankees with 2 in the 5th, 2 in the 6th, and 1 in the 7th. That's where we stand, 6-5. Rusty Greer, I mentioned he'll be on deck. And I guess the Yankee fans have to be somewhat elated with the way Hideki Irabu has pitched tonight after having not pitched since April the 16th. Swing and a miss, strike 3. So Hideki picks up his 4th strikeout. Well, fans on the next homestand, the Seattle Mariners in there to take on the Yankees at the stadium May 7th through 9th. On May 8th, fans 14 and under will receive a Derek Jeter growth chart courtesy of Skippy Peanut Butter. And May 9th, well, we saw what happened last year in May on Beanie Baby Day. As Rusty Greer takes a pitch upstairs. All fans 14 and under with a ticket receive the 1999 signature bear from Beanie Babies collection.
David Wells with a perfect game last year. Maybe Freddie Garcia this year. One of Lou Pinella's new. Louis P will come in with a few new faces, some new young pitchers. Bert Hinchcliffe, is it? Bert Hinchcliffe and Freddie Garcia, of course, Griffey and Buhner, usual cast.
That's ball 2 to Greer. And by the way, you can get your tickets now at the Yankee Stadium box office or call 212-307-1212 or always on the web at www.yankees.com. Good low ball hitter is Rusty Greer, but this one is headed right towards Bernie Williams in center field. And that is out number 2.
Well, I love this kind of baseball game. It's 6-5, 19 hits. But the pitchers are just, none of them are going to back off and pitch defensively. Irabu has thrown about 70% strikes. Seeley gave up 10 hits, didn't walk anybody. Zimmerman gets touched up. He comes, it's like, here it is, hit it if you can. And the hitter says, they're saying we can in a lot of cases.
And it's a close ball game, going down the wire.
Beautiful game for the. I think this is the kind of game fans love to see. There's not a lot of dead time.
Gonzalez 2 for 2. That just missed. Ball 1. He's also drawn a walk. Yeah, where was that pitch? Those pitching coaches, they want them all. Swung on and missed. Or should say foul back. A ball and a strike.
Well, of course, the attention on the umpires we mentioned earlier is that the Major League Baseball has directed that the pitches be charted and monitored a little closer this year. And in past years, I think some umpires have widened the strike zone out. They haven't called a high strike, but they've widened it out a little too far.
Too far outside, maybe a little high too. 2-1. I think one thing that's interesting to note that the umpire's contract is up after this year. There's Rafael Palmeiro on deck. And they're talking about centralizing the umpires. That they'll be taken over under one umbrella by Major League Baseball. No more National League or American League umpires. Another pitch up high for ball 3-1. And what they will try and do is they will regionalize umpiring too. The umpires will stay, say, in the central part of the country, and they will umpire both American League and National League games. That way they will cut down on travel, which I think is good. Then after about a month, they will shift them out to another area of the country, either the East Coast or the West Coast. Swinging 3-1, fouls it back. The count is now full, 3-2 on Gonzalez. And I think you won't see umpires going from Middle America all the way to the East Coast for another series. You'll see them move, say, from Chicago down to Texas here.
It should make it easier on them.
I mean, a National League game over to doing American League games. Payoff pitch on the way to Juan Gonzalez. Splitter is bounced foul, and we'll do it all over again.
Well, if we see him walk, Kenny, and we've talked about this before, this is an amazing statistic. Of the 917 top home run hitters in Major League Baseball history, only one has walked fewer times than he has home runs, and that's Juan Gonzalez. He did 3 and 2. If it's close, he's going to be hacking. He does, for a power hitter, he does not draw many walks.
Three-two pitch on the way. Swung on it, missed, strike 3. Got him. Hideki Arabu polishes off the Rangers 1-2-3 here in the 7th inning with a couple of strikeouts. We're heading to the 8th inning. What a ball game. New York Yankees baseball is brought to you in part by Toyota. Every day.
Every day is not like this for Roger Clemens. But tonight the Rangers got 5 runs in the first inning to build up a nice lead. Now the Yankees have battled their way back. Chad Curtis, who takes ball 1, actually got them started with a solo home run in the 5th. And made a terrific catch to end the 6th inning off the bat of Tom Goodwin. 1-1. Zimmerman also, Kenny, and you could relate to this as a hitter, he has that herky-jerky motion. There's nothing smooth about his motion. Arabu has done a great job in 5 innings, and now Jeff Nelson begins to heat up in the Yankee bullpen. There's a little bit of a neck, you know, his neck kind of comes first and then the arm and the ball. So I'm sure he's the kind of guy that hitters are going to have to see a few times before they can be comfortable against him. 2-1 now to Curtis.
Yeah, a combination of the way he delivers the ball and what he's actually throwing up there.
His brother Jordan pitches in the Seattle minor league organization at New Haven, and he's the one that tipped off Jeff when Jeff was pitching over in France, pitching amateur baseball in Canada to begin with. That's inside. He was set to pitch a tournament for Canada. Tournament got canceled. They called it off, and he went over to France. His brother said, if I'm pitching pro ball, you got good enough stuff to do it.
Right underneath the letters with this one.
Fouled straight back. Another aggressive swing. Let's check out the Zimmerman pitching motion.
Chad Curtis has had some good rips tonight, and here's that herky-jerky motion. Watch it. Kind of a limited Kevin Apier delivery.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of whiplash. Speaking of Apier, he started tonight for the Royals against Mike Messina. Baltimore won that 8-4, so the Yankees will see Apier in the 4-game series later this week.
Breaking ball. And McLemore will throw him out.
There's that good, you know, the good tilt on the slider again. Got Curtis to swing very defensively on it.
Here's another look. That target painted low and away. The ball was right there. Curtis doing everything he could just to make contact.
So a big out for Zimmerman. Every out he gets Johnny Oates a little closer to John Wetland, and as you can imagine, the Yankees have not seen much of John Wetland lately as Soho takes ball 1, because as Al Trautwig pointed out in our Marriott Marquee Scorecard show, how the Yankees have dominated Texas. There's John, the 1996 World Series hero, getting loose. That's tapped out toward third. Zeal is there. The Stevens in time, 2 down. The Rangers scored more runs in the first inning tonight than they scored in the previous 5 games against the Yankees, going back to the division series in the first 2 games. And Don Zimmer will go to his bench. He's looking for a long ball here in the 8th inning to try to tie this up, and he'll bring up Jorge Posada.
Now you can see the average low because of the fact that Posada does not have a hit left-handed this year, and maybe looking for the long ball has been his problem. Sometimes you try and do too much instead of getting those base hits. Those are the ones that keep your average up, so you can go deep every once in a while.
Down and in, ball 1, and Johnny Oates with plenty of confidence in Zimmerman. You know, when you've had trouble beating a team and you get 4 outs away from a one-run win, I'm sure it's tempting to go to that bullpen and bring Wetland in for what would be a 4-out save. Pulled foul. And it's a ball and a strike to Posada. But what it also does is it builds up the confidence in Jeff Zimmerman. You know, if he gets Posada out, he comes off the mound saying, man, they got confidence in me to get a big out from a left-hand hitter in a one-run game. 1-2.
You can see where that slider is his primary pitch.
And I love the intensity in his eyes. Even when you see him shake off pitches, he does it with a lot of conviction, like he knows exactly what he wants to do and where he wants to throw it. Got him. Inside corner fastball. Very impressive outing by Jeff Zimmerman in the 8th inning. And the Rangers with a shot to beat the Yankees for the first time in quite a while. We head to the bottom of the 8th. Rangers clinging to a 1-run lead. It's been a good one. 11 runs, 19 hits, and an error. Jeff Nelson will come on and try to shut the Rangers down in the bottom of the 8th to keep it that way. We remind you that this copyrighted telecast is authorized under rights granted by the New York Yankees solely for the private non-commercial use of our audience. Any publications, reproduction, retransmission, other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the New York Yankees and Madison Square Garden Network is prohibited. If you did not catch the early part of the game, we mentioned a shocking start. 5 runs off Roger Clemens in the first inning. He left after 2, as you see Nelson's line. A hit per inning and 5 walks. Left with some tightness in the left hamstring. A remarkable outing by Hideki Irabu, Kenny, in 5 innings.
5 innings, 5 strikeouts, 3 hits. He gave up a run. When we talk about the base on balls will hurt you, he walked 1 man, and that's the man that scored against him. That's the difference in this game right now, 6-5.
And the impressive thing, without boring you with a lot of numbers, is he threw about 70% of his pitches for strikes, and that's terrific. So a big step forward for Hideki Irabu, and he has kept the Yankees in position to have a chance to win it if Nelson can shut the Rangers down here in the 8th. He'll face Palmeiro, Rodriguez, and Todd Zeile. Pulled foul. You have to go back to August 23 of last year is the last time the Rangers defeated the Yankees, when it was a rare bat outing by Orlando El Duque Hernandez, who will start tomorrow night for the Yankees. One and one, and John Wetland will come in to pitch the 9th. He's probably going to say, who are these guys? He hasn't had much opportunity to face the Yankees because the Rangers have not been in position to defeat them.
Look out.
It didn't hit him. It looked for a moment like it did, but with the jackknife dive, he got out of the way.
You got to remember, Palmeiro's got a bad knee to begin with. And I don't know how that missed him.
Probably that bad knee. His reaction is that I'm not going to get hit in that knee. I think if you wound up and hold it, if you wound up and held it tonight, you'd get some hitters to swing. Everybody is swinging from the time they leave the bench. Pudge Rodriguez waiting on deck. Palmeiro with a pair of Ks against Irabu. He did get a base hit off Clemens. In the air, Jeter in short left field will make the call. Puts it away, 1 down. When our game here at the ballpark at Arlington is completed, we invite you to join the half-hour edition, or just the limited edition, of the National Finance Sports Desk. Bill Daughtry is there. Devils and Penguins, and the Yankees and Mets action, and an update on the Knicks. And then tonight at midnight, Fox Sports News comes your way right here on MSG. Ball one to Pudge Rodriguez. Ground out, couple of flyouts. One and one. We're talking about the differences in these two teams, and this year the Rangers are one of just 4 teams to score over 100 runs, but they are still coming into tonight's game. Were a -6. They had given up 6 more runs than they'd scored. Now you contrast that to the Yankees. Breaking ball, did he go? No, said Dale Ford, so it's 2-1. The Yankees have scored 97, but they've only given up 62, so they're 30. That's a +35. Only Cleveland has a better ratio than that, so the solid Yankee pitching has been what has powered them to the 12-5 record.
And that's because Cleveland has scored so many runs this year.
Defensive swing, and it's 2-2.
When you look at those 3 clubs, the 3 division winners will appear here in Texas this week.
The Yankees only go into Cleveland 1 time this year. That's too bad, because with and the schedule still has to be fine-tuned in the next couple of years. That's you have to be able to play teams in your own division more often to really determine a true champion. Tapped out toward first, but foul. You can see the effect Jeff Nelson, when he does have good command of that sidearm breaking ball, the effect he has on right-hand hitters. You got a good hitter lot like Ivan Rodriguez, and look at this swing.
Off the end of the bat, queued up.
Got him. Good sidearm breaking ball. Rodriguez down on strikes, and that's 2 away here in the Ranger 8th.
Yeah, this is a classic example of the effect on right-handed hitters. That Jeff Nelson, about 6'7", slings it. Looks like it's coming from the Yankee dugout on the third base side. Zeal's going to get the treatment right here.
And that double right now stands as the key hit in the game. That knocked in runs number 4 and 5 against Roger Clemens in the first inning. Outside for a ball. Top of the order coming up for the Yankees in the 9th. Knobloch is a perfect 4 for 4, has raised his average to 358. He'll lead it off, and then Jeter and O'Neill, and Paul O'Neill with a home run in his last at bat to bring the Yankees within 1. That's in for strike, even the count. High, 2-1. Here's our Dodge drive of the game, Kenny.
Quick swing through the zone. It drives it over the head of Chad Curtis, who will score the final 2 runs in the first inning, and give the Rangers a 5-0 lead.
High, 3-1. The other run scored on, despite the outstanding effort by Hideki Irabu. It was scored on a Irabu wild pitch with Palmeiro at the plate, who later struck out in that at bat, but that's how the Rangers got their 6th run. Nelson would like to polish off Todd Zeal, because waiting on deck has been perhaps the Rangers' most productive hitter, left-hander Lee Stevens. But he lost him through a 3-1 breaking ball. And Mel Stottlemyre probably going to bring a lefty in to face Lee Stevens. He has signaled for the left-hander. So this call to the bullpen is brought to you as Mike Stanton comes in by Teligent, the Yankees' official local, long-distance, and internet provider. Still a 1-run game. Don Zimmer would like to keep it that way, so he brings Mike Stanton in to face the left-hand hitting Lee Stevens, and gives us a chance to tell you that after this long road trip and the Yankees return home, they'll take on Mo Vaughn. He's back in the lineup, and the Anaheim Angels That's May 11th through 13th. You can get your tickets now at the stadium box office or on the web or at Ticketmaster. And then the White Sox will come in for 3. Frank Thomas, who's having a terrific year, and a lot of their young pitchers doing well this year. They'll take on the Bombers May 14 to 16. May 15, incidentally, is Cap Day for all fans. That's courtesy of Ben & Jerry's Ice Cream. Get your tickets at the stadium box office, at Ticketmaster, on the web, www.yankees.com. So the two of the West Coast clubs, the Mariners and the Angels, and then the White Sox, all come into the stadium on the next homestand.
The White Sox got rained out tonight at home against Tampa Bay. Sox have won 7 of their last 10.
They got a couple lefties that have done well. Jim Parquet, Mike Sorotka.
You always mention those lefties, don't you?
And is it Joel Snyder, a right-hander, that's pitched a couple of very good games? Well, you think left-handers in Yankee Stadium, because a lot of visiting teams always try to pitch their left-handers there. Speaking of left-handers, here's Stanton to Stevens. And looked for a moment like Zeal got caught leaning the other way. Todd, not much of a base-stealing threat, and Mike Stanton might have thought he'd just catch him napping over there.
Those are the type of guys you pick off, though.
That's right.
They're not thinking about going anywhere. Just take my 2-step lead and freeze.
Boy, he is having some aggressive swings. Rangers have talked about how Stevens, who at 31 years old, here's a guy who was a #1 pick of the now Anaheim Angels back in 1986, just didn't develop, went over and played 2 years for the Kintetsu Buffaloes in Japan. Became a very good hitter, similar to what Cecil Fielder did. And they said anything but up and in, he's not missing much. That's outside. You can almost see Kenny the way he holds his hands. He'd be very vulnerable to the pitch, between the belt and the letters in on his hands.
He and Mike Sims is currently on the DL. Were a very good tandem, lefty-righty DHs last year. Sims and Stevens drove in 111 runs out of that DH spot last year.
Good pitch by Stanton to run the count to 1-2.
But this wasn't something that Stevens was used to last year. He'd be back on the bench and Sims would be up. But Sims is out with it. He tore an Achilles tendon in spring training, or slightly tore it, and is just now almost ready to come back.
There goes Zeal. Got a big jump. Nope. Not make any difference as Stevens waves at the Stanton fastball. Mike Stanton does his job. He gives the Yankees an opportunity to win it in the 9th against their former teammate John Wetland. Top of the order coming up when we come back on MSG. Looking at John Wetland, the Ranger closer, who will try to shut the Yankees down in the 9th, and to do it, he'll have to do something none of the other pitchers for Texas has done tonight, and that's shut down Chuck Knobloch. Take a look at the stats for John Wetland. With the Rangers at 11-8, he has 6 saves in 7 games. Typical for John. Good control and better than a strikeout an inning. He is a relief pitcher that does not rely on just one pitch, and you'll have to have more than that the way Knobloch's swinging the bat.
Hey, he's got a good curve, good slider, and one of the top fastballs in the league.
Even has tried to add a changeup in recent years. Well, he brought an intensity to the Yankee club in 1996 out of that bullpen, and you got a chance to see him for a lot of his good years in Montreal. Knobloch will lead it off, and this is what he's done so far tonight.
There's Chuck pick up a double. Well, this is actually a single that drove in a run, the RBI that he's had in the ball game.
Yeah, that was 1 of 4. 2 doubles, 2 singles. August 23 of last year was the last time the Rangers defeated the Yankees. Eye for a ball. They scored more runs in the first inning tonight than they have in the previous 5 meetings. Jeter waiting on deck.
Well, we talked about the success the Yankees have had against the Rangers. That means that John Wetteland hasn't been in many games. Only 7 against the Yankees in the last 2 years.
2-0.
Didn't see John Wetteland in the division series because the Rangers never had the lead.
You see Todd Zeile tight to the line at third and Stevens at first. That's typical of managers. That's inside 3-0. But with Knobloch and Wetteland, that kind of matchup, you don't really anticipate that Knobloch would pull the ball. So it really opens up a big hole between Zeile and the shortstop Royce Clayton. Might not make a difference because the count's gone 3-0. Four-pitch walk. Wetteland with a long look at Chuck Merriweather, as a lot of pitchers have done tonight.
Now Wetteland will now face Derek Jeter. Jeter hit .551 at the ballpark at Arlington last year, and one of his 2 home runs was off of John Wetteland. They had no answer for Derek Jeter last year.
Pretty convenient target here at the ballpark. Toward right center field, the way the ball carries, and that's where Derek hits most of his home runs. He's certainly made great strides in trying to pull the ball. You see the outfield playing straight away. There's a strike.
Checking the signs at third.
Foul out of play, 0-2.
Knobloch has a pretty good lead over at first.
This is back last year, Kenny.
Scott Brosius is at the plate. You see the Yankees are down by a run, but not after this one goes out of the ballpark. And John Wetteland.
He won't have to face Brosius tonight. That was a 3-run dinger last year. Scott off a rehab assignment tonight down in Tampa. Texas fans looking for a strikeout. Up and in for a ball. 1-2 to Jeter. O'Neill homered in his last at bat. He waits on deck. A look at what Derek has done in the latter part of the ball game, where you're usually facing those good relievers.
Look out.
And in again. Well, I think American League pitchers know how well Derek Jeter has started to cover the outside part of the plate.
Well, this is the second time tonight he's almost gotten hit.
And he's responded quite well to that, Jeter has. In terms of swinging aggressively after that happens. As he does right there. Certainly not going to scare him off the plate. 2-2 and a good swing at that fastball. I think Don Zimmer admired that swing.
Well, you're talking about my having seen Wetteland up in Montreal, and he was the closer up there too, and did a heck of a job before he was traded to the Yankees.
Curveball low, and the count is full to Jeter.
In fact, Felipe Alou said that John Wetteland was the heart and soul of the Montreal Expos ball club, which they had to break up because the team knew if somehow they could get the game to Wetteland, it was in the bag.
The Yankees knew that in '96, went through some tough times in '95. The Yankees didn't show a lot of confidence in him, particularly late that year. Knobloch on the run, and Jeter foul tips. Foul tips that pitch.
Jeter upset because that was ball 4. Now sometimes you look for a pitch so much, and when you see it coming, you kind of leave your strike zone. You can see that was ball 4. He tried to check his swing, And he was upset because the Yankees would have had 2 on and nobody out.
That's why it's so important for a pitcher, if you miss, to miss within the edges of the plate, either high or low. It's so much more difficult for a hitter to lay off the pitch that's inside the sides of the plate.
Good matchup here with Wetland's speed on the ball, the ability to throw the ball hard. Pudge Rodriguez behind the plate, a good base stealer on.
And Wetland, as is the case with most power pitchers, very easy to get a good jump on with a high leg kick. John will do his best to hold Knobloch close with a few throws over there. Left field, base hit. Knobloch got a good jump. He's going to get to third easily. And Willie Randolph will hold him there. And the Yankees have first and third and nobody out with a chance to tie this game and perhaps win it.
You get yourself into a hitter's count where a pitcher 3-2, he has to put up or shut up. Wetland almost walked him. This pitch is designed for the corner. It's right down the middle. Derek Jeter, quick wrist, base hit in the left field. Knobloch was on the move. Runners on the corners. Nobody out here at the top of the ninth. Look at Knobloch. Got a good jump. Checks to see what happens with the ball. It's right in front of him. He's headed for third. In fact, Willie Randolph didn't hold him up till the very end. When Rusty Greer played it cleanly. And you can see the reaction of John Wetland. He knows he's in deep water now.
John Wetland probably saying, wow, Derek Jeter didn't turn on the ball like that in '96. That's one of the big improvements in Derek Jeter as a hitter. Here's O'Neill. Ripped. Right field base hit. This game is tied. Jeter will make the turn and he'll head for third. And he'll make it easily. So Clemens again will get a chance to extend that winning streak because the Yankees have taken him off the hook with that 6th run.
Well, remember what I said about Jeter and Knobloch eating up the ballpark at Arlington? This is hit number 3 on the night for Paul O'Neill, including a home run. This one will tie the score. You go back to that leadoff walk to Chuck Knobloch on 4 pitches. Open the door, and the Yankees have stepped through it at least one time.
There's the table setter. No better 1-2 combination in the league, maybe in baseball, than Chuck Knobloch and Derek Jeter.
The Yankees should come back and win this game. How demoralizing would it be for the Rangers after taking a 5-0 lead, knocking out Roger Clemens, or at least he left due to injury, but they roughed him up in the first inning. Then having Jeff Zimmerman come on, do a pretty good job holding a 1-run lead. Then bringing in their ace, John Wetland, seeing the game tied and with the possibility of the Yankees taking the lead.
And Al Trautwig, we talked about that with Al on the pregame show, about psychologically, Johnny Oates would like to see the Rangers win a couple of games to break this jinx. The Rangers bringing the infield in here with nobody out and first and third. O'Neill at first base gets his instructions from Jose Cardinal. Two and 0. And Derek Jeter at third, similar to the situation we had in the first inning when Knobloch did not score on O'Neill's chopper. If you're Derek Jeter right now, you have to really be thinking ahead of time. Mariano getting ready in the Yankee bullpen should they take the lead. Towards Zeal, knocks it down. He looks at Jeter, cannot get O'Neill at second. He could have, but he didn't pick up McLemore in time. And Bernie Williams thrown out on a hard hit ball to third base, but the Yankees do advance O'Neill to second.
Zeal comes up with a rocket shot in his direction. Doesn't come up with it cleanly. Checks Jeter, twice and then throws on to first to get Bernie Williams. Ball's hit so hard he had time to get Bernie at first base.
Yeah, and the Yankees get a bit of a break there because Todd Zeile, of course, he didn't have time to look at second base, but they would have been able to get O'Neill. Now they're going to walk Tino Martinez and go at the hot-hitting Chili Davis.
Now the whole idea is to set up the possibility of a double play.
Even though you don't consider Wetland a double play pitcher.
I think he's more of a fly ball.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, strikeout pitcher, then the fly ball.
Yeah, you don't see managers use closers to walk guys intentionally very often because they're saying he's my closer, he's my best, he can get anybody out. I wonder if Johnny Oates was tempted to pitch to Tino Martinez, who is not swinging the bat too well, and then say, then I'll walk Chili Davis and go after the right-hand hitters. But he puts a little more pressure on John Wetland because Chili Davis is a very patient hitter. And Chili Davis has been in this situation before on opening day at the stadium.
Yeah, walked Tino Martinez in front of him. And then a grand slam homer.
You see Chili Davis get his game face on, and Wetland has his.
The Rangers do not drop back in double play depth. They remain in.
Good block by Rodriguez. That saved a run right there.
He is very, very quick behind the plate. In fact, so quick his feet will come out from under it. Shifting into position to block that ball for all he was worth. And Martinez is 0 for 5 lifetime against Wetland. Chili Davis 1 for 4.
Left field, near the line. Jeter's tagging. Greer's throw is cut off, and the throw to third to get O'Neill is late. And the Yankees have taken the lead on the sacrifice fly by Chili Davis. It's 7-6. A remarkable comeback.
Well, this is what we're talking about. A veteran hitter taking what a pitcher gives him. Chili Davis, a fly ball deep and up the left field. Great speed on third and Jeter. And even though there's not, maybe not as far as he would have liked to have hit it, still no chance to get Derek, and O'Neill moves over to third base. Now everybody's rooting, go, 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 go.
Sim's got to be careful now. That knee's acting up.
Nice comeback by the Yankees tonight.
Here's Curtis. And all the swings have been so aggressive. Chad chases the first one there and fouls it straight back.
You know, from the Yankees standpoint, I would think, and maybe from the Rangers too, they've been on the road. The Yankees, this is the first really good warm weather they've played in. Maybe the hitter's starting to feel a little looser tonight, a little more comfortable. You see the short sleeves on Curtis. They're playing in New York and Detroit. They got the long sleeves on, the chokers around the neck.
Well, Don Zimmer and
this is baseball weather.
Yeah, for pitchers and hitters and fans. Zim in some of his pregame comments. Center field playable. Goodwin is there. He'll put it away, but the Yankees score a pair to take a one-run lead. Zim said this team is going to start getting tougher when a few more guys swing the bats, and they have. Mariano Rivera will try to save it when we come back on MSG. Back at the ballpark at Arlington, and Mariano Rivera will try to record his 5th save. Something his battery mate John Wetland could not do in the top of the 9th. Tomorrow right here on MSG, the Yankees and the Rangers will go at it. It'll start with our Marriott Marquis Scorecard show at 9 o'clock. Then on Thursday again, an 8:30 start. Note tomorrow night, the start is an hour early. And then on Thursday night, the regular time, 8:30. Starts with our Scorecard show at 8 o'clock. And if the rest of this series are as good as this one, these are In baseball, sometimes you can miss 2-3 innings. You don't miss a lot, but this has had a lot to offer every inning. Just to recap it, Roger Clemens with a rough outing, 5 runs in the first inning. Aaron Seeley shut the Yankees down through 4. And then the Yankees gradually started their comeback. The veteran Luis Alicea will hit for Royce Clayton to start the Ranger ninth. Curtis with a solo home run. Yankees got 2 in the 5th. Rangers scored their 6th run on a Rabu Wild pitch, but despite that, Hideki so far I think would be the player of the game for the Yankees with 5 superb innings. 2 more in the 6th. The O'Neill solo homer in the 7th to get within 1. And then Knobloch and Jeter set the table in the 9th for the tying and lead run. But attempt, but foul.
So far this year, Alicea is 0 for 2 as a pinch hitter. In fact, there have only been 3 pinch hit at bats for the Rangers this year. Tom Goodwin has one. That tells you they have a pretty solid everyday lineup.
High. 1-1. That's high, and it's 2-1. Mariano worked an inning and a third on Sunday afternoon against the Blue Jays. Mel Stottlemyre monitoring that pitch count. Back right to Mariano. He'll knock it down. Plenty of time. Pulls out Alicea 1 away here in the Texas ninth.
You know, one thing that Mariano also brings to the mound, the ability to field his position. And Kitty, I think you mentioned the fact he was such a great soccer player back in Panama, so the footwork is there and the quickness around the mound. Here's a smash, knocks it down, didn't field it cleanly, but you see just one cat-like jump and comes up with it, throws him out, 1 down.
The speedy Tom Goodwin in for a strike. Most of the time, short relievers come in, they have to work through the heart of the opposition batting order. Jam shot, tapped out, and that'll roll foul. But in this particular case, the object is to keep from facing the heart of the order. If the Rangers go in order, then you miss Greer and Gonzalez, and that's what Johnny Oates would like to see. Maybe a base hit, get McLemore on base, and at least give Rusty Greer and Juan Gonzalez a chance to hit against Rivera. Foul back again. Mentioned last year when the Yankees made this trip, it was an 8-gamer. Texas, Kansas City, Minnesota. They won 7 of 8. The only pitcher to beat them they will see on Thursday night, Mike Morgan. But last year, Mike was in the Minnesota Twins rotation. Another defensive swing, and Goodwin stays alive.
That cutter almost ran in on his kneecap. Somehow he got wood on it and pulled it foul. Looks like they're trying to work him in. Well, maybe they're going back outside here. Yep.
And it's hit that direction. Soho is there. Toss to Martinez, and the Yankees are 1 out away from a remarkable comeback. Spotting Texas 5 in the first. And in the last 5 innings tonight, coming up with 7 runs. It would run the Yankee record to 13-5 and stop a 4-game Texas winning streak. Ball 1 to McLemore. If Roger Clemens is able to go to the mound in his regular turn, those of you that missed it, he left after 2 innings with some tightness in the left hamstring, he would still be able to win that 18th consecutive decision. 1-1. towards second base. Knobloch on the run. The toss to Martinez in time, and Mariano Rivera with 3 ground ball outs has saved a 7-6 win for the Yankees. And as you might imagine, an emotion-charged team comes hustling out on the field when you spot Texas 5 runs and it's Roger Clemens that gives them up. Your chances of coming back don't look that good.
And the crowd filing out of here, well, saying, what happened? They got us again. Look at the final out. McLemore will roll it past Mariano on the mound, but Chuck Knobloch, one of the hitting heroes tonight, has the pleasure of recording the last out. And here's a reaction to Don Zimmer and Mel Stoudemire, who's a long way back for the Yankees tonight, but that's why they make these games 9 innings long. You don't win them in the first inning. And Johnny Oates, what can I tell my team now? A disheartening loss, especially for his closer, John Wetland, the former Yankee.
The 6th win in a row for the Yankees on the start of this road trip, and we'll be back to recap it here on MSG when we come back after this.